push a mind to a limit where it needs to feed. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome back to My Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick, and I'm running a little late. Today's been just a weird freaking day, and we still got the protests going on, and people are still acting crazy. And I said shit was like this was gonna happen, and it's happening, and it's only gonna get worse because I see it getting worse. Because of course, someone's behind these protests, right? It's too organized. It's too how can I say, very liberal. And I have a big feeling that the Democrats are behind all this unrest that's going on in our country. The Democrats are never happy, and they always express themselves with displeasure. And if they don't win, they'll cheat, they'll fight, they'll kick, they'll fuss, they'll do anything they can to be on top. And it's just so weird and awkward. And we're witnessing something very extreme going on. I think this is something more telling that's going on. There's a lot of things that's behind the scenes that you will be shocked at what's happening. These protests that you're watching and so forth, it's fake. It's fake emotions. It's the Democrats, and listen to this. There's individuals within the Democratic Party that's in these protests, handing out flags, handing out a whole bunch of shit. Like, they've already been caught. There's already video of them antagonizing the crowds to do more and pushing them to do more. And this happened before with Black Lives Matter, the BLM riots. Yes, remember the summer of peace, supposedly the summer of love of 2020. Very peaceful, and yet it turned very crazy. They're trying to recreate this again, and not only that, but they're trying to spike it up a little bit high, and they want President Trump to look like a fool. But the only fools are the ones that seem to not have a mirror, because if they would look at themselves, they would question their life choices. And it's sad because, like, they're so brainwashed and so gone and so far left that for me, I said, let them drown. Let them drown. And that's what they're going to do. I mean, it's going to get worse. This weekend, I say, listen, for those who listen to me and who watches me, stay home. Don't get involved with any of these protesters, any of the large gatherings. Stay away from it. Like I told you, they're doing this for a reason, and it's gonna get more crazier because they're antagonizing more people to join, and they're gonna create chaos, and that's what they want. The Democrats are not happy if things are peace. If things are running smooth, they're not happy. They have to have chaos. They have to have, like, they have to be cursing. They have to be aggressive. They have to be super Karens. Um, it's disturbing. It really is. Like I said, I was not prepared for this show because I was running like late. I just was not feeling good today. I took a nap, and it was probably one of the worst naps I've taken in a while, where I felt like I was gonna die. That's how bad I felt. I was like, "Well, is this my time to go yet?" I'm like, "No, I still got to cover this craziness and also the attack on Iran. I gotta. I'm definitely gonna be on for that because I would like to see when the U.S. and Israel go all out on Iran, which I believe is gonna happen, and it's gonna happen sooner than later. And I feel like everything that's going on is it's stirring up the energy and bringing up this energy that it's not going to be good. It's just not going to be good until they're not going to slow down until people start dying on the streets because of what they're doing, and then they're going to be like, oh, look, oh, I think we shouldn't have done that. We should have just stayed home. No shit. And if you see the protests and you look at the people that are protesting, they look very Democrat. They look very far left. These are the same people that were crying on, was it that tic tac toe? I heard a TikTok was tic tac toe, TikTok. They were there crying and be like, "Oh, Trump is the devil. Trump is Nazi. Trump is this. Trump is that. Trump is doing his job. What are you guys doing out there protesting all week? You guys don't have a job? None of these people that are protesting, do they have jobs? Do they not have jobs? Can we find out if they do or not? I'm pretty sure you could ping their phones and you can identify every single person that is in those protests, and you can find out their workplace, their home, who they socialize. You can download all their information from their phones. I'm pretty sure the government already knows how many times you beat yourself off at the end of the day. Like, they know. So there's it's just ridiculous. It's gonna get more ridiculous, and I'm sorry for being accurate, but it's gonna get far worse than it is gonna get better. And just stay home. This Saturday we'll celebrate here from the studios. It is Trump's birthday. It is Flag Day. It is a celebration of the military, actually the army, 250 years of power, pretty much the army. And that's one hell of an accomplishment. And not only that, but it's also Trump's birthday. And, the Democrats are going to want to spoil his birthday. And Yeah, the ones that are going to be crying is the Democrats after Saturday. Trump is going to go ham on them. If they go crazy on Saturday, Trump is going to go all out. And he's going to say, you know what? No, we're going to get all the military involved and we're going to get everyone out of here. Everyone who's all this protesting us and that, they'll round them up and they'll get them. And they're going to get them. And I hope Trump is listening to me and I'm sending the energy to him. Please open up more prisons. You need to open up more prisons. There's no way that you have the capacity now to hold the amount of individuals that are out here causing a ruckus. You need more space. We need more prisons. We need like really good high tech prisons to house these individuals, especially the criminals, the really deadly murderers, child rapists, all these crazy people. Yes, we need to get them out. And if we can't get them out, we got to get them in jail, and we can't let them go because this is a ridiculous thing that we're dealing with. Let's go ahead and set this up here, and I have a live feed going on right now. So let me tap into that live screen here, and let's go here and get it all set up, and we can watch for a little bit and what's going on. So you see a lot of flags, Palestinian flags, Mexican flags, a lot of flags from all around the world, but not much American flags. It looks like this is a march slash caravan type of thing. They started protesting here in Connecticut too. They started doing something in New Haven. They're planning No Kings parade for this Saturday. Starting I guess at 11 in the morning. They're gonna be at Hartford, Connecticut, like the capital. They're gonna be protests all over here in Connecticut. It just makes me want to throw up at these people because they're so stupid and they don't understand what is like really going on here. And these are just pawns. These are really pretty much nobodies. Like these people right here needs to, if they love Mexico so much, why are you not living in Mexico? Oh, I see an American flag. One American flag. Oh, two American flags. I see two, possibly three American flags. Yeah, there's one on the bottom, one on the top, one in the middle. There's four American flags I see. There's a story behind this that I saw earlier today. Let me see if I can bring it up. Give me 1 second. I put it on Discord, on Tyson's Discord, because I try and get back into Discord again. It's just not the easiest thing for me because I don't like too much social media. But I do have that video. Give me 1 second, and I'll bring it up. And what's really happening, and it's disgusting. It's very disgusting, and it's very disturbing. And all this is all premeditated. This is all, and you know, you got to come with receipts. Like, Rick, how can you say that? Like, come with receipts. Okay, let me bring you some receipts, and then you're gonna check it out. Let me see if I can find the damn video because I did see it earlier today. I did post it on here. Give me a second. Let me see if I could find it. It'll be easier if I just come over here and find it. Give me 1 sec. All I hear is damn honking. It's driving me fucking crazy. It's driving me crazy. I'm about to pull my hair out. Give me 1 sec while I'm trying to get this video so you guys can see. So it's very disturbing. And you give me a minute, I'll get it up. I've seen so many videos today. I've seen a lot of videos. I'm sick because I'm getting sick of this continuing, and I don't see Gavin Newsom calming situation down. He's just enticing. He's just making it worse for the people. Um, Not a good thing. Not a good look. It's not gonna get any better at all. That's my goal. So let me move up here. Let me see. I that video. I'm trying to see where it's at because so like I said, I've seen so many news, so much today. Um, Finding the person who put it. Let's see where I put that. Where is it? I can't find it. Wow, I can't find it. No, that's not it. We got all this music and stuff, so let's go ahead and take this off because I don't need to be listening to that crazy honking and shit. I don't want to be hearing the music. It's like this is like ridiculous. As I'm working behind the scenes and I'm trying to find what's going on here, I had it somewhere, man. I just gotta freaking find it. I have it somewhere. So I would have had this ready, but I was really behind today. I was just not feeling good, like I said, and it sucks when you're sick and it doesn't show. You know, you can't see that I'm sick because I don't look sick, but I'm very sick. And let's see if I can find it. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Yes, it is. So this is coming from Liberal Hive Mind. Cool site. It's a cool channel, YouTube channel. I just want you to see this video real quick, and let's be the judge here.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. What an absolute clown show. I mean, holy moly. The headline clip that I got to show you guys here today feels almost like something that could be the storyline or the plot line of a South Park episode. It feels like parody, but it's very much not. The left and their little stunts. It's like a comedy sketch in real life. We're watching these Democrat-funded riots pop off across the country, and people are starting to notice a very clear common denominator, and that's that the people who are attending these protests, well, they all seem to be waving Mexican flags, the flag of a foreign nation, which obviously isn't a good look and has been soundly and roundly ridiculed, basically since day one of Donald Trump's inauguration. Well, as per usual, the left is a little bit slow, a little behind the trend, a little late to the party, and so now, finally, they've realized, oh crap, we look like complete idiots for protesting with the Mexican flag, and so now it seems we've got a bunch of DNC volunteers running around like headless chickens trying to get protesters to swap the Mexican flag for an American one. You literally cannot make this stuff up. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so just take a look at this clip right over here.
Are you going to have those American flags? We got rid of all of them when they started coming. We were sitting ducks here, so we...
How many did you guys be able to
Oh, wait.
I think we got 5 or 6 out.
If you ask the Subaru right there...
But they're not put together.
Oh, they're not put together.
Not put together.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that was a good idea.
Right.
We're going to bring them back out.
We're going to bring them back out after.
Yeah.
Okay.
We might be back out in an hour.
Yeah.
They're marching from this. They're going to start coming this way.
Yeah.
I think that was a good idea after yesterday.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys.
Right on.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Where'd you get the American flag? Wait, where?
He just handed it to me because I was on the top.
It's like a random guy? Oh, alright. Excuse me. I was looking for these flags. Where did you get this? Okay, oh. Are they just giving them out?
Yeah.
I mean, I was being serious when I said it looks like a DNC volunteer. It literally does. Just your typical left-wing door knocker, smack dab in the middle of a massive riot, now trying to get people to ditch the Mexican flag because the optics has started to backfire. The left never ceases to amaze. I mean, how hilariously transparent can you get? The message seems quite clear, right? We can't let the people know what we're really about. That's basically the message that's being sent. Quick, before they find out who we really are and what we're really advocating for, let's misdirect. Basically, left-wing politics in a nutshell. Hide, lie, deceit, pretend as if it isn't happening when it very clearly is. And the moment they catch on to you, well then just engage in a psyop. What's the worst that could happen? But what's really funny is how it always takes the left so long to realize what they're doing. They just do not possess the ability to tell when something's going to backfire or when something's a bad idea. I mean, you'd think at this point that the George Soros NGOs would have shipped in hundreds of thousands of new flags from China by now, but no, as per usual, they're a little bit late to the party. And unfortunately for them, I think it's a little, too late. The irony has already kicked in. It's settled in. Waving a foreign flag in a protest to stay in a country that you're not even supposed to be in the first place. It's just peak irony. You know, actually, I think this clip kind of puts it into clear perspective.
People are calling us criminals that are prone to violence and a tax burden to the American economy.
I know. What an offensive stereotype that is just not true. We should riot. Assault police officers, government officials, National Guard, destroy public and private property, steal.
I'm going to stop you right there. Wait, so if people are deporting us because they think that we're violent criminals and ultimately tax burdens, and the way that we try to stop them thinking that is by being violent criminals and damaging public property that have to be paid by taxes or taxpayers, do you think that's wise? Do you think that's smart? I don't think that's smart.
Ooh, okay, I'm seeing your point. Okay, how about this? What if we showed our love for America by constantly crapping on America and waving around a different country's flag? That will show them how much we want to be here. I don't know. If I invited someone to my house or they showed up uninvited, but I still gave them a living, but they complained all the time, I would just call them ungrateful and tell them to go back to where they came.
Bro, I ain't going back over there. Are you crazy? Dude, it's crap over there. It's crap.
These illegal migrants protesting want to stay in America, but they wave a Mexican flag. It's a slap in the face to every law-abiding, tax-paying American citizen. Obviously, it's bad optics. Obviously, it's stupid. And honestly, probably that's why the Democrats support it. It seems like that's usually at the top of the checkbox. Is it stupid? Is it a bad idea? Oh, then yes, sign me up. I'll check the box and sign my name. That's basically how it seems to work in the world of left-wing activism and thinking. But yeah, clearly. In fact, it's such bad optics, it's such a bad idea, that even Americans of Mexican descent can't stand it.
You don't want to go back to Mexico. You're protesting to stay away from Mexico, but you're waving the Mexican flag and you're waving it with pride. You're waving it in the United States, the country you're trying to stay in, the country you don't want to leave, but yet you're waving the Mexican flag with pride. Okay. That seems normal to you. That seems logical. That's not stupid at all. None of that's stupid. All right. You guys are an embarrassment to the Mexican culture and to the United States culture. You guys are an embarrassment to everybody around you, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Do better.
Yeah, I guess it's not just the white MAGA crowd. Oh, those darn white supremacists. No, it's pretty much everyone. People clearly can tell the difference between legitimate protest and a bunch of freeloaders trying to leech off the frickin' system and benefit from their clearly illegal actions. Nobody wants to be associated with this crap, especially not the legal migrants. CNN did a piece on that, actually.
Immigrant citizens, immigrant voters, foreign-born voters have gone tremendously to the right on this issue in 2024 and 2025 versus where they were in 2020. Closest to or trust more in immigration. You go back to 2020. Democrats, get this, held a 32-point lead on this issue. Immigrant voters were in the Democratic camp. Jump forward to 2024, 2025. Look at that shift, a 40-point shift to the right among immigrant voters. Republicans now lead on this issue by 8 points over Democrats, more so than any other group that I could find. The group of voters who became more hawkish on immigration were in fact immigrants themselves, immigrants who are registered to vote in this country. So, you see this shift and you go, what is going on underneath the hood? Well, take a look, Donald Trump. You remember when he first ran back in 2016, immigrant voters were one of his weakest spots. But look at this. Trump's vote share in presidential elections among, again, immigrant citizens, those who are registered to vote. Look at this. 2016, you got 36% of the vote. You go to 2020, 39% of the vote. Look at this in 2024, all the way up to 47% of the vote. Some polls I looked at had him barely losing that vote. Some polls I looked at had him barely winning that vote. Again, there is no block of voters that shifted more to the right from 2020 to 2024 than immigrant voters. And Donald Trump, at least in some surveys, actually won that vote. On average, it's about equal. So there may be all this stuff, right, about undocumented immigrants and Trump being harsh on them, but immigrant voters themselves have increasingly liked Donald Trump and have increasingly moved to the right on immigration into the Republican camp.
Donald Trump's immigration practices are shooting up in support. And again, not with, oh, those evil white supremacists in the flyover states. No, the legal immigrants seem the most pissed, and rightfully so. I mean, they're the ones who are now guilty by association, seeing all these people rioting on the streets supposedly on their behalf, because that's what the Democrats do, right? They conflate immigrant with illegal immigrant, and now they're engaging in riots. Who would want to be associated with that? Especially as they wave Mexican flags. Imagine you're a law-abiding Mexican immigrant who has totally assimilated and identifies as an American. You're a patriotic American of Mexican descent, and then you got these bozos giving you a bad rep. I'd be freaking pissed. I don't blame them. And of course, I saw it coming from a mile away. I mean, we've been talking about this for years, really. The Mexican flag at protests isn't a new thing, and the frustration that actual legal migrants have been feeling also not a new thing. We've been saying it forever, we've been warning the Democrats. I've been engaging again in free political consultation, giving the Democrats everything they need. Hey, here's the issue, clearly identified. Here's what you need to fix. But obviously it all fell on deaf ears, and they're just unable to be ahead of the curve. They're unable to realize these things until it's too late, and then they have to spend millions of dollars deploying their little Karen army to try to fix it in real time on the streets. Quick, drop the Mexican flags. Swap them for the red, white, and blue. Too little, too late. No one cares. You Democrats already lost, and the polling data tells us that. Absolutely. And wait till you see the polling data I'll show you on the next video that shows where the American people stand on Donald Trump's deportation efforts. You Democrats have already been clearly identified as chaotic and unpatriotic, and that label's not going anywhere for a very long time. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's mad crazy. Mad crazy. Let's see, let's listen to it over here. Protest is going on. And this is the reason why Trump activated the military. Because Trump he's a visionary. He's a architect. He knows like what's up. He knows when shit's gonna hit the fan. He can feel the vibration, and he is aware and he prepares. He didn't want another January 6th. He tried to prevent that. Nancy Pelosi didn't want the National Guard, and look what happened. When Nancy Pelosi turned down the National Guard and they didn't have enough forces, they overran the Capitol and took it over, right? So what Trump does, well, he's very preventive. So he stepped up the military, sent in the National Guard, and he's sending in the Marines, and they are going to battle. Right now, the Marines are still being trained. It takes a 2-day process to train for civilian combat. If this is civilian combat, so it's a different technique in handling people, especially these type of people that are unhinged. And Saturday is gonna be it's gonna be crazy. Civil war. Let's see what happens. I hope the crowds don't come out armed and start shooting at the police officers and stuff, because I haven't seen that yet. But they've been throwing Molotov cocktails. They caught 2 individuals throwing Molotov cocktails. Let me see if I can get that video up too, so we can see who these individuals were. Because they did catch, I think they caught them. I hate when I see too much video. I watch too much YouTube. And I got my history. You don't even want to see my history. It's just bombarded with videos. But we were watching this gentleman actually. Let me see if I can bring it up here. We were watching this guy 2 days ago. Actually, no, more like 4 days ago, and we were questioning his what he was doing. Sure enough, he was doing something behind the tree, and we kept looking at him, and he looked very suspicious. Come to find out, he was setting up to throw a Molotov cocktail at the police officers, and I'm gonna show it to you right now. So we're gonna skip this stupid ice parade here, and we're gonna go to this story here on Fox 11 from Los Angeles, and this is what I'm talking about. All right, give me 1 second. I think I'm having problems with the volume again because, of course, fucking Streamyard needs to get their shit together. It's getting on my nerves that they keep messing up with the freaking volume. I'm gonna have to write to them or something and really bitch them out because it keeps doing it. It keeps messing up, and it's on their end. It's not my side. So let me just reestablish the connection here real quick, and we'll continue that story. Here we go.
The escalation of violence by these rioters poses a serious threat to our agents and the safety of the public. Throwing rocks, explosives, assaulting agents, and committing other acts of violence are extremely dangerous and will not be tolerated. The president had no choice but to call in the National Guard to protect our assets and our personnel. Our agents and our law enforcement were overwhelmed, and we are grateful for the help of the National Guard that we've received. The defendants charged in the complaints are accused of throwing Molotov cocktails at police officers and sheriff deputies who were called in to restore order after 2 demonstrations against federal immigration enforcement turned violent. As alleged in the complaints, these defendants, one in Paramount, the other in downtown Los Angeles, threw Molotov cocktails at police officers. Last Saturday, one defendant, Emiliano Galvez, hid behind a fence and threw the destructive device at a sheriff's deputy, then ran away.
This is the dude, the suspicious dude we were looking at the other day, where I had you guys watch. We kept looking at this dude, and we're like, man, this dude is actually very suspicious. He's acting very suspicious. He's hiding behind a tree. He's dressed all in black with a hoodie on and a face mask. And he has this container here, and we thought it was milk, and we thought, but come to fruition, it was a Molotov cocktail, and he ended up lighting it and throwing it at the police. Now the police end up chasing him and catching him and arresting him. But this is the footage of and we were looking at this guy for a long time, and yeah, it's just freaking weird.
Deputies gave chase and arrested him. That's the video you actually see playing right there. The following day, a police officer apprehended the other defendant, Raki Quigui, after spotting him with a Molotov cocktail in his hand. Officers witnessed him throw the device in the air and then arrested him with a lighter in his right hand. I commend our prosecutors and our law enforcement partners for swiftly taking action against these individuals. Our community must be kept safe for peaceful protests and against thugs and criminals looking to start trouble. We expect more charges to be filed in the coming days and weeks. If you took part in these riots and were looking to cause trouble, we will come looking for you. These defendants are charged with possession of an unregistered explosive device in violation of 26 United States Code Section 5861D. Possessing a Molotov cocktail or another destructive device is punishable by up to 10 years in federal prison. They are presumed innocent until proven guilty. I now introduce the Los Angeles Special Agent in charge of the ATF office here, Mr. Kenneth
Just
Cooper.
all black with that hot heat. and sweating all over.
Good morning, everybody. I want to stand here and represent ATF and the public and announcing to the public that ATF's firmly committed to our whole of government approach to providing public safety, especially with what's going on here in Los Angeles. I want to make it very clear that we are not putting our state and local partners with LA County Sheriff's Office, our Sheriff's Department, or LAPD. We are not pulling them into Title VIII investigations. We understand their restrictions with state law. So this is us coming together when violent acts are committed against the citizens of Los Angeles. And in cases like this, the facts of the case are fairly simple. If you guys see the defendant here, Mr. Galvez, this was during the Paramount riots where Border Patrol was utilizing gas because they were having rocks and fireworks thrown at them and they were being assaulted. LA County Sheriff's Department responded to assist. This individual was identified even by open source media, preparing to assault them with a destructive device. And as you could see, by the grace of God, when he deployed that in a fireball, it luckily did not hit one of the deputies, as it clearly would have caused substantial physical injury or death. ATS firmly committed. These are the most aggressive criminal acts, and we will aggressively work with our state and local and federal partners to investigate the use of destructive device, arson or explosives, or firearms to assault our public citizens and our public safety first responders. I guess I didn't even highlight our partnership too. The second case with LAPD, both incidents, ATF was able to work with each of these police departments to get an arrest on individuals that were attempting to harm the police officers with destructive devices.
The Los Angeles Police Department appreciates the partnerships with both our federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies, especially during this time of unprecedented civil unrest. We're going to continue to work with them to ensure that our community remains safe during this challenging time, especially when it involves cases where violence is being conducted against both of our local law enforcement uniform officers as well as our federal officers during this time. We'll continue to work together to make sure our community remains safe and target those individuals that are doing harm to both our community members as well as our law enforcement officers as they try to keep peace in our communities right now. Thank you very much, and I'll introduce Commander Ruiz from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
Good morning, everyone. This is going to be brief. I just want to say thank you to our federal partners for working together with us and moving forward with these prosecutions. On behalf of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and all of the local law enforcement agencies in LA County, thank you.
If there's any questions, we could take a couple right now. Yes.
How many people have been federally charged so far tied to the protest, and what's the importance of charging federally versus local?
We'll get you those hard numbers later. I know there's at least 9 people charged over the weekend. We've had more people charged this week for throwing rocks at officers. These 2 cases for throwing Molotov cocktails. We've had I think a couple others, but we can get you that full list. We might even do a bigger briefing tomorrow with all the federal agencies to go over that in more detail. Today, we want to highlight these specific cases because we find this particular act of violence to be extremely dangerous. As you saw in Colorado, these Molotov cocktails have the ability to seriously harm or kill a person or, and a police officer that they were thrown at. So we want to highlight these 2 cases today, and we'll get you more numbers. The importance of charging people federally is for people to know that there's serious consequences for the behavior, for their conduct. You have the right to peacefully protest. No one's going to stop you. But as soon as you cross that line into violence, you're throwing stuff, you're throwing rocks, you're throwing bombs. That's unacceptable. It will not be tolerated. And we're going to come down with a really heavy hand. And this isn't state This isn't state court. This is federal court. So you're going to go to federal prison, and you're going to go for many years. So the consequences in federal system are much greater usually than they are in the state system. That's the importance of it.
All right, there you've been listening to U.S. Attorney Bill Asalee announcing federal criminal charges to some of the people who were arrested during
And that's wild. That's wild. And while we're looking over here, it's just a little crazy how they are able to assemble like this. And you can tell they're all Democrats. I want to see who's a Republican and standing out there protesting. Because I highly doubt. I mean, maybe it's 0.5%, maybe a Republican there. But this is too organized, way too organized. And something's not right here. Something's really, when something smells like shit, it's shit. Okay. And what I'm watching here and what I'm seeing, it's a lot of shit. This is gonna be this is gonna be one of the toughest weekends in American history, probably. I see a lot of people getting hurt this weekend and possibly dying this weekend. I feel like this is just gonna get escalated even more because, like I said, the Democrats are really pushing for this. They want this. They are not calming it down. They're instigating it more and more. Their mayor is pushing them, saying that she stands by the immigrants and the illegal immigrants, and she really doesn't care about America. She assumes a lot, and that's a big red flag. When you start assuming, you're causing like conspiracy and aiding and abetting, pretty much. I would remove her as mayor. If I was president of the United States, she would definitely be removed, and also Gavin Newsom would also be removed. And the one that would jump up to be like the acting governor, she would not be acting governor. She's way too democratic. She's far worse than Gavin Newsom. So no, we're not playing those games. We're not going to play the next Democrat up.
Please, thank you. And I'll just hold this. I'll hold it and I'll put your voice. So can I start with your name, please?
Kimberly Gomez.
Can you spell
Let's listen to this.
It's Kimberly, and then Gomez is Gomez.
She don't know how to even spell her name.
I'm 20 years old.
20 years old. And
Yes.
you're an
20 years old. She don't know how to spell Gomez.
I was born here, but my dad and mom are from Mexico. So this
Take
whole
the asses to
thing
Mexico.
is really meaningful for me that there's a lot of people coming out supporting and knowing that their country is something to speak up about.
Go to Mexico. It's not far. Across the fucking border, and you're in
I
Mexico.
feel like there's certain things that many people can prevent from doing. They can speak up and they can open mind whatever they want to say.
And they can cross the border
hurting
and
other
go back
people,
home.
because as well, they're human beings, but hurting other people is not good. It's something that our country is not going to accept that if we're hurting other people. But I am proud that there's multiple countries here celebrating and trying to fight
Celebrating?
for a country
You call that
being
celebrating?
taken care of, and that there's a lot of people that's been apart from their families.
Girl, you need to work on yourself. You have other fish
I'm not
to
gonna
fry.
respect that because
This is not your fish.
I'm a fight
And you
till
should be
I
home.
am done and my voice is out of my league that I can't no more, because they deserve my voice to be heard.
She needs to go to Mexico. Go to Mexico with your parents,
Here and there,
and that's
but
it.
knowing that
End
I
of story.
have,
Self-support.
all my
And
family, all my
you're
people,
American because you were born here, so you'll
lives
have
here
dual
and knows
citizenship.
this country, they will fight for one
If she
another.
wants to stay here, she can stay here, but her parents need to go to Mexico. End of story. You know, you can't continue this tyranny you guys are doing and causing chaos. Why are you covering your faces to begin with? Like, I don't understand that. Does that look friendly? Covering your face and walking like walk of shame? Like, do these people look
Sure, but
happy?
it looks like they're
No, they
pushing
don't,
it
right?
back.
Because they're fighting for a cause. They're fighting for the illegals. You know, the illegals that came here, half of them are probably really good. They're probably really good people, but the others are not. And those are the ones that we're trying to get rid of first. Everybody else is collateral damage, pretty much. Um, Today I spoke with a Mexican. Um, I ran across a Mexican, and I asked him. Like, what do you think about what's going on lately, and stuff like with LA and all over the place and stuff. He's like, and he told me in Spanish because he only knew Spanish, but he told me that he moved here and he came here the legal way, and he moved here back in 1997. No, not 97, 95. 1995. He moved here. His wife, he married his wife. His wife was American, so she was able to get his green card for him and so forth. And he lives in America, and he's an American citizen. He is a citizen here, but he's a green card holder, and he doesn't know that well English. He knows some English, but nothing too crazy. But I asked him, "What do you think of what's going on?" He told me that it's not fair that these illegals came here from the border and they were given everything, but when I came here, I had to pay out of my pocket to be able to get processed and went through the proper channels, and I became a citizen. Now, all this work that I did and all the money that I paid for seems like it was for nothing. And I feel like I'm the true victim here because I went through the system and I was approved to be a citizen here. And that kind of like got to me because I go, well, what you think about the illegals that are here now? And you know what he told me? They need to go back home. They need to go back home. That's what he told me. And I was like, I feel the same way. I feel the same way, and I feel how you feel. I feel the energy in your story, and I appreciated him. Um, but it was good to hear from somebody else, especially a Mexican that actually did it the proper way and came in the proper way. He fell in love. His wife was American, and she married him and got papers, and she really truly adored him and loved him, and it's just wild. It's just fucking wild. Like, you hear a story like that, and that's such a beautiful story, right? But then you see a story like this, and it's something so negative and so disgusting that people are fighting for illegals that are here illegally. It's like ICE is going after, yeah, bad people, but there is collateral damage when they go into a situation and then they see all these like illegals because they could tell they're illegals. What they're gonna do? Not question them? Hello, they're officers too. They gotta question them. They're gonna investigate. They're gonna like, oh, excuse me, who are you? What's your name? We're having an investigation here, and there's a lot of Mexicans here, and it looks very suspicious. And to come to find out, all the people in the factory were illegal. Guess what the ICE did? They detained them all and took them. And that's what you're seeing here. You're seeing the protest and the lawlessness because ICE did their job. ICE went and got the individuals. These people were networking with some kind of system. I don't know. It was like a Amber Alert, like a ICE Amber Alert type of thing. And like when you see ICE, report them, and everybody gets the message to come to the location where they have that report and cause chaos. That needs to be investigated. That truly needs to be investigated. I think there's something really, really wrong about that. Okay, let me go here in the chat. I'm tired of being right. Completely parallel to Trump has full authority to take action. Yes, he does, man. You dipshits are the ones causing damage, bitch. Get the hell out. Yeah, it's true. They are the ones that causing all this for no reason. I'm telling you, this is funded by the Democratic Party. This is the Democratic Party putting all their chips in because they got nothing else to lose. What they have to lose that they already lost already. They're going to go further down the totem pole that is going to be so bad for the Democrats. It's going to be unrecoverable. Maybe we do need a king here. Maybe we need a king that could control America, and we don't need to go through this craziness every 4 years with a different person with different agendas and different things. You know, it's like the last president we had was a fucking corrupted president. He was the world's most corrupted president in history. If you want evidence, the evidence is in Ukraine. Oh, what's going on in Ukraine? Oh, war. Oh, so happens to have war, right? Like that's not a coincidence. They don't want the information that's there destroyed. I'm really sure that the Bidens do. Hunter is praying that Russia continues to bombard and destroy Russia because that way the evidence can be destroyed. There's a lot of dirtiness happening behind the scenes. This is more the meets the eye. There's a lot of other things going on, and this is just a flea on a dog's back. That's what this is. This is a flea on an area where a dog can't itch, and this dog is getting fucking irritated. And there's gonna be a point where this dog is gonna get that flea and he's gonna destroy it. But until then, we gotta deal with this mess. And this is a mess that's not gonna get any better. It's not. This is a prime opportunity to put AI to work because AI could get all these phones. You see everybody having their phones and everybody's like videoing and taking pictures and communicating with their devices. Well, all these devices can be pinged. Okay, and once you're pinged, they can open up an investigation on you and determine what were you doing during these civil arrests. And I'm 100% sure that agents will be coming to visit almost every one of these people because they know who they are. They know if technology, if we're going to get advanced and be advanced, let's see how advanced we could get that we can digitally track these people from their phones through GPS and the satellites and antennas where they're pinging at, and yeah, you can see all their pictures. AI could go. You know, AI is so advanced and so strong that it takes like less than a nanosecond to go through your whole history. That's how fast AI is. Like they could pick up all these pictures, videos, phone calls from these locations that these individuals are standing at, and they could break down everything and know everything about the individual. That's how, like, I see it. The government, they need to hire me because I talk too much. Because I can see it, and I just say what I see, and I've been right a lot of times. A lot of times I've been right, and sometimes I hate being right. I hate it. I just hate when I start predicting things and it happens, and it just drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. I'm so good, but I don't self gloat. You know, I keep a lot to myself, and I haven't helped really much. It's been a while since I did that type of stuff, but all these visions and stuff, I get them all the time, and I just try to relay it on here and just document it, and then people could go back and listen and watch my shows and be like, oh shit, he was talking about this. He was talking about the energy, how hype it is, and how something big is going to happen within the next 2 weeks. And I said it's going to happen sooner than later, and sure enough, here it is. And I feel like it's going to get more crazier because we're still dealing with this mess, which is just a distraction. But there's, like I said, there's bigger fish to fry. And I have a feeling that Iran is the big fish that the United States and Israel is planning an attack to go after Iran. Will Iran use their dirty bombs towards Israel? I believe that in worst case scenario, yes. If it's gonna be like fuck it, let's just go for it. Let's just take the risk and just shoot it into Israel. I believe that can happen. Will Israel Iron Dome pick it up? If it's a hypersonic missile, I don't think the Iron Dome can stop it. I don't think the Iron Dome can stop it because Russia already showed their hand with this type of weapon, and I'm sure Iran they put in some money for it. Remember that Biden gave them how many trillions of dollars that they gave to Iran, and and Trump is like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And they just they just they PayPal'd Iran. He's like, "Yeah, here's like how many trillions of dollars, how many billions of dollars was it that they got?" Of course, Iran was like, "Oh shit, we got all this money. Let's get some fucking weapons." And that's what they did.
You guys know where I can get to Union Station?
And I think that's a problem that that's the next big problem, that Trump is going to be in the Situation Room again, and is going to be an operation against Iran. There's going to be a big statement, and they're going to go after them, man. It's going to be wild. And once they do, when it happens, I'll be on. I'll come on here and we'll talk about it, and we'll try to get as much video as possible to share with you guys. And I am anticipating it. I'm feeling it. I feel it because the package has arrived, and we're just waiting for the guest. And you know, the ships and submarines need to get in place within distance to get to the target. And I think they're almost in place. And it's going to go down, and it's going to be one of the biggest bombardments that we have done since, I want to say, man, since the Iraq War. I think it was was it a desert storm? Now that war was really uncalled for. But I hold my opinions on that because YouTube will censor me. YouTube don't like me. I speak too much truth, and they'll be like, "Yeah, you're talking too much truth," so they censor me. They taken my, even some shows, they took them down, especially when I talked about the C word, and where I said it came from a laboratory. I talked about this. I said it before. Albie is my witness. Albie's been in here almost every show that I've done. He's like the number one like viewer, like my number one fan is Albie. And He knows. He can tell you. Like, this motherfucker is good. Yeah, illegal is illegal. That's true. And these Democrats, they're holding on because remember, these are their constituents. These are their voters. These are the people that vote for them. And how rigged is those elections if you're having these illegals vote for you? You know, and now you're fighting to keep them here. I think Karen Bass needs to be put in handcuffs. I think Gavin Newsom should be in handcuffs. I think Nancy Pelosi needs to be in handcuffs. I think this. We look. They have a lot of plastic handcuffs there, zip ties. They could take it over to City Hall and put Karen Bass in those cuffs, and yeah, she should be in jail. What a disgrace! And the people like listen to it. They watch her and they think she's doing great. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, am I the only one that's like? I know I'm not the only one because I know some of you guys in here watching have the same sentiment that I do. Speak your mind. That's why we have a chat, so you can communicate in there. Speak your mind. But it's getting wild in LA, and there's a curfew tonight. I checked, and yes, there's a curfew that starts at 8 p.m. and it until 6 in the morning. So you got to see what's going on, right? For the past 6 days, these protests and riots and civil unrest has been happening. LA, Chicago, other places throughout the country. But the most major focus has been in LA. These police officers have been doing the job and they're outnumbered. You see all these protesters, right? And you see the small police force. You don't think these police officers are going to get tired and fatigued and they're going to get so pissed off that they're going to grab one of these individuals and have a little Rodney King part 2? They're going to get agitated and they're going to like get one of these illegals and beat them up. They're going to beat them up like Rodney King, and then he's going to sue the police and then win. I don't think that'll be a precedent if you have an illegal win a lawsuit against the police force and you're an illegal. You're not even supposed to be here, but then the judge is very liberal and decides in the favor of the illegal. That would be crazy. That's some Judge Judy shit, man. I mean, like Judge Judy, and she's a Republican. I know Judge Judy's a Republican. I mean, like throw this guy, throw this guy back, throw him back home, Judge Judy. Oh, the horses are here. Oh, you know I love horses. Look at this. Look at this. They're causing a ruckus. It's 7:12 right now in Los Angeles. Curfew starts at 8 p.m. So that's 8 p.m. Pacific time. Right now it's 10:12 p.m. Eastern time here in the United States. Good old United States. It's not really united, man. I feel more like divided states of America has more of a ring to it because everyone's divided. These people are divided. They don't believe that they live in America. They believe that they live in Mexico. They think that that's Mexico. I heard a lot of people were saying, "Yeah, this used to be Mexico, so America stole it from Mexico." No, bitch. We won a war and took over that land. That's a big difference. There was a war. Like what Russia is doing to Ukraine, that's what the US had with Mexico back in those days. And you know who won? The United States won. And we took over that land. And now they want to something that happened way, way, way back in the days, like reparations. This is what they want, reparations. You know, this is like their reparations. No, this is Mexico. This used to be Mexico, so we should be grandfathered in. Does that sound smart? That sounds stupid. I feel like getting like that sock from like Homie the Clown. Remember In Living Color? And you get the sock and you fill it up with rice. I would put rice in that bitch because that way it'll hurt as hell. But he filled it up and he has a sock. And then when someone says something stupid, he hits him across the head with the sock. That's me hitting someone across the head, hitting a liberal across the head and trying to wake him up. It's like, wake the fuck up, man. Like, start thinking. Think think outside the box. Think like all around. Like think overall. Don't lean to one side. And see everything for what it is. What would make us a better like how society will be better if we just like got along and we got rid of these people. Because they're eating up the resources. I'm telling you, they're taking up resources. They're taking up housing. They're taking up all the like medicine. It's gotten expensive because remember these immigrants they get sick too, and guess where they're gonna go to a doctor, and you know what the doctor's gonna do? Prescribe a medicine, and guess what? How much they're gonna pay for that medicine? $0. Why? Because they are on Medicaid. And that's the reason why Trump is cutting back on the Medicaid so hard is because all these illegals are in that program and they're bleeding the hell out of the program. The program was not meant for them. The program was meant for Americans that paid into the system. People that are here paying their taxes and put years and years and decades into the system. And yet these immigrants were coming here and they were giving them $5,000 checks, like not even checks. They were giving debit cards and like food stamps, and they would get a lot of money. They would get thousands of dollars in food stamps and cash coming out of Social Security. That's what Biden did. That's what Trump is trying to fix. Biden really fucked up Social Security. We're lucky that Social Security is not bankrupt right now. We're very lucky. Very, very, very lucky. But these immigrants don't pay for anything. They don't pay no rent. They don't pay for no food. They don't even pay for their light bills and all their stuff that they use up. They don't pay. Everything's given to them for free. How the fuck? And they're illegals. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's crazy. Let's see. Anna Hayes. Oh Lord, I can't stand that bitch. I know about her. Oh Lord, dude, if we do a show just about Connecticut, oh man, the corruption that's here in Connecticut. Oh man, you know, I had a barber one time from the city. He was a really good barber. He knew a lot of people. He was asking me why I don't run for some kind of office or being a mayor or something because we need like more Republicans like you here. He told me just like that, and I told him with the corruption that you have here in Connecticut, it doesn't matter who you put here. they'll take them out because there's so many secrets here. You know, there's a lot of secrets here in Connecticut. Skull and Bones is here in Connecticut. That's here from Yale. You know, remember the group, the Skulls and Bones? Uh, it's a lot of secrets, a lot of secret societies here in Connecticut. Very, very, very slick. So slick, it gives me handy, was it Sandy Hook feelings? Because I always felt that something was wrong with that, what happened that day at that school. Like Sandy Hook, red flags were coming up everywhere in my head. Red flags. No shit, I've been here since '87. Yes, I remember. Yeah, because that's one odd story, man. And it's still odd. And then the way they went after what's his name, Alex Jones. The way they went after him, that was very suspicious. Because the state wasn't going to pay the parents or anything, so they passed the buck and they put Alex Jones to pay for everything and give them the money, the millions that they wanted. I always felt that was very weird, that case. Very, very fucking weird. Energy of it, I was like, he is not going to have a fair trial. I knew he wasn't going to have a fair trial. A monkey could have told him that. I could have been that monkey. Like, dude, you're not going to have a fair trial here. Connecticut is very corrupted. I don't know what people are chatting. I mean, we're waiting for something to happen. Let me see if I can find another feed. Because we've been watching this feed for a while. Let me find something. Give me 1 sec. I'm pretty sure they have something going on. I just gotta find it. I like using big companies like news companies like Fox, and I try to stick more with the conservative news. It's a lot of you can't just listen to. I'm just saying you can't really listen to everybody. You gotta be selective hearing at times. Yeah, it's gonna be a wild night. I mean, it's supposed to rain, I believe, this weekend here in Connecticut. I could double check. I believe it's supposed to rain. My body tells me yes because I've been hurting really bad. I haven't been feeling good. It's 69 right now. Woohoo! Um, yeah, like Saturday is gonna be freaking starting Friday night into Saturday into Sunday. It should be should rain. I usually feel the storms before they come. I start feeling really bad and start feeling sick and shit. It just sucks. It's the side effect. Having a lot of metal inside of you. I'm just checking the news on my phone and I'm just trying to see if I can find something. hate Kardashians. Kardashians, I think they like have an ownership in TMZ because that's all they freaking talk about. Like they talk about Kanye West, Kardashians, and Diddy, and then other stupid news. I'm gonna try find something here, and then relay it over. Oh, Tyson came out with a video. Yo, let's see if we can say Tyson de la Cruz. Hold on, I just saw he just dropped a video, but I didn't notice here on my computer, which is weird because I don't get notifications on my computer, and it's rarely I get it on my phone lately. So, let me.
Federal law enforcement are calling it the biggest drug ring takedown in our region in recent memory. The takedown of 2 interrelated drug rings led to the indictment of more than a dozen people.
America, check this out. Federal agents just pulled off a massive drug takedown in Seattle that exposes everything wrong with liberal drug policy. They arrested 14 drug traffickers who were specifically targeting homeless people and drug addicts, seizing enough fentanyl to kill everyone in Seattle twice. But here's what's really sick. These drug dealers were literally preying on the most vulnerable people, while Seattle progressive politicians create the perfect hunting ground for them to operate.
The feds say more than a dozen drug traffickers who preyed on the poor and the vulnerable are now off the streets.
What is up, guys? Tyson de la Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. One dealer was even caught on a wiretap arranging drug deals from a Costco parking lot while the city handed out clean needles and safe injection sites. This story perfectly illustrates how liberal compassion creates a perfect storm environment for Mexican cartels and drug dealers to prey on American citizens. In this video, I'm breaking down this massive operation, the shocking details of how these drug dealers operate, and why Seattle's progressive policies enable this absolute nightmare. Let me break down the scope of this operation because it's absolutely massive. Federal agents took down 2 interrelated drug rings operating in Seattle's Chinatown International District and homeless encampments. Did you hear that? Homeless encampments. They arrested 14 people in total, with 11 currently in custody and 3 still on the run.
In this case, we targeted offenders who used both to prey on some of our most vulnerable communities. They dealt in death in the form of drugs and guns.
But here's what makes this operation so disturbing. These weren't just random drug dealers. According to the FBI, these criminals were preying on some of the most vulnerable communities, specifically the homeless community in Seattle. That's Seattle's progressive policies that have abandoned these people on the streets.
Police accusing drug traffickers of targeting the poor and vulnerable.
They preyed on some of our most vulnerable, the homeless, the drug addicted, people who, in fact, deserve our compassion.
The operation involved extensive wiretap investigations that revealed the sophisticated nature of this criminal organization. They weren't just street-level drugs. They were running coordinated trafficking operations up and down the I-15 corridor through Washington, Oregon, and California.
The wiretap was multiple rounds were used within this investigation.
The wiretaps helping the feds gather enough evidence to indict 14 people.
All this stems from a local investigation by Seattle PD that led federal agents from Washington State into Oregon and California as they tracked the drug trafficking network. These drug dealers were making frequent trips, sometimes twice a week, up and down the West Coast.
Followed this case outside of Seattle and Washington State into Oregon and California.
Agents found the source of the supply, believed to
Wow.
be from Mexico.
The numbers from this operation
Holy
are absolutely staggering. In this case alone, they seized over 1.5 million lethal doses of fentanyl. Prosecutors put it,
what's
that's
up?
enough fentanyl to
How you
kill
doing, man?
everyone in Seattle twice.
Law enforcement accusing the 14 of trafficking
Damn, that's a lot of
fentanyl,
drugs.
meth, heroin, and cocaine up
Holy
and down the
shit.
I-5 corridor in Washington, Oregon, and California.
Whoa,
17 guns
that's a
also
lot of
taken off the
weapons.
streets.
They also seized 17 guns, showing these weren't just drug
Wow.
dealers. They were armed criminal organizations operating in American cities. As one official put it, they've dealt in deaths in form of drugs and guns. This operation comes after an earlier takedown in March, where law enforcement seized more than $3 million worth of drugs from this exact same network.
We will continue to pursue drug trafficking organizations exploiting vulnerable populations and remove dangerous individuals from our communities.
So we're talking about a massive ongoing criminal enterprise that is
That's
flooding
crazy. That's a
Seattle
lot
with
of
deadly
drugs.
drugs, while the city's progressive leaders just look the other way. And here's where the
I
story
wonder
gets
how much
absolutely
drugs they're
ridiculous.
on.
Federal agents caught one of these drug dealers on
To
a
be acting the
wiretap
way they're
arranging
acting and
drug
being so
deals, get
protective.
this, from a Costco parking lot.
We even heard one of the suspects on a wiretap arranging drug deals from a Costco.
Think about that. While families were shopping for
Costco.
groceries in bulk, drug dealers were coordinating fentanyl distribution in the same exact parking lot. This perfectly illustrates how normalized drug trafficking has become in Seattle. These drug dealers were so comfortable operating that they were conducting business in broad daylight at a family shopping center. But what's really sick is while these drug dealers were preying on homeless people and flooding the streets with fentanyl, Seattle's progressive politicians were enabling the entire operation with their harm reduction policies. The groups continued to traffic even after March seizures, showing how entrenched these operations have become. Agents found the source of the supply believed to be brought from Mexico, confirming this was a direct cartel operation targeting American communities. Seattle has spent millions on safe injection sites, clean needle programs, and quote-unquote compassionate drug policies that essentially create a customer base for these cartels. Instead of getting people into treatment, they create an environment where drug dealers can operate in absolute impunity. And here's the detail that mainstream media is trying to bury. The DOJ tells us that 3 people charged in this drug trafficking investigation are here without legal status and have been previously removed from the country.
Now, the DOJ tells us that 3 people charged in this drug bust investigation are here without legal status and had been previously removed from this country. The DOJ is still waiting on confirmation on the others.
So we have previously deported criminals who come back illegally and immediately resume trafficking deadly drugs to American citizens. This is exactly what happens when you have weak border security and sanctuary city policies. Seattle's sanctuary city policy essentially creates a safe haven for these criminal organizations. When local law enforcement can't cooperate with ICE, it becomes much easier for deported criminals to return and resume their operations. The fact that some of these drug dealers were operating in the country illegally while targeting vulnerable Americans show the complete failure of Seattle's progressive immigration policies. The DOJ is still waiting on confirmation about the immigration status of the others, suggesting that more may be illegal. This is the second round of arrest, what they call the jungle, after 5 men were arrested for drugs and guns in January. But the problems persist because of Seattle's policies enabling these criminal networks to continue to operate.
According to the FBI,
This is the big hit for our team.
it's the second round of arrest in the jungle after 5 men were arrested for drugs and guns in January. But the problems persisted.
What makes this operation particularly evil is how these cartels and drug dealers specifically target Seattle's most vulnerable populations. They set up shop in the Chinatown International District and homeless encampments, knowing these communities had less protection and oversight. The community has been calling for more police presence and cleanup, but Seattle's progressive leaders were more concerned about not appearing racist or insensitive than protecting vulnerable communities from predatory drug dealers. According to the FBI, this was a big hit for the team, but it raises some questions about how many similar operations are still running in Seattle and other progressive cities that enable this kind of criminal activity. America, this Seattle operation exposes the deadly consequences of liberal drug policies. While progressive politicians were busy enabling addiction with harm reduction and sanctuary policies, Mexican cartels are getting rich by preying on the most vulnerable Americans. 1.5 million lethal doses of fentanyl, enough to kill everyone in Seattle twice. Dealers arranging drug deals from a Costco parking lot. Previously deported criminals returning to traffic drugs. This is what compassionate drug policies look like. The federal agents who conducted this operation deserve credit for taking these predators off the streets. But the real question is, how many more operations like this are happening in liberal cities across America? When you create an environment where drug use is normalized, borders aren't being enforced, and criminals face no no consequences, you're essentially sending an invitation to cartels to set up shop and prey on American citizens. In my opinion, the solution isn't more safe injection sites or needle programs. It's aggressive law enforcement against drug dealers and secure borders to keep deported criminals from returning. As law enforcement said, they will continue to pursue these organizations and remove dangerous criminals to make communities safer. When progressive politicians talk about compassion for drug users, what they're really doing is creating hunting grounds for cartels to prey on vulnerable Americans. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
That's Tyson De La Cruz. You can go over to his channel and give him a like, give him a subscribe, watch his shows and like him. He's really good. I'm glad I found him, and I love his reporting. I tell him all the time he's doing a great job. You just gotta keep going, Just nice and steady wins the race. It's okay. There's a video I wanted to bring up here that I just found. It's Sean Hannity, and I'm gonna bring it up right now.
You know, the ones that were all obsessed about January 6th for years and years, they are doing absolutely nothing at all to calm tensions in major cities, which have already been, wrecked by looting and arson and other acts of violence. Instead, similar to what we saw in the Summer of Love in 2020, they're just adding fuel to the fire with one recycled smear campaign after another against President Trump. The talking points have now gone out, and almost everyone in the state-run legacy media mob, the radical left, Democratic Party, they're telling the American people Trump is a dictator, a threat to democracy. Democracy is in peril and on the line. And don't believe the violence that you see day in and day out, night in, night out, with your own eyes. They are lying to you. They are cheap, fake videos. And the riots, they're mostly peaceful. And everything is all Donald Trump's fault. Now, we have heard these smears over and over again. By the way, a lot of good. This did Democrats and the left-wing media mob during the election of 24. Let's just keep lying to the American people and simply expect a different result. That would be the definition of insanity. This is why Democrats lost in 24, why the legacy media died on November 5th of 24, and they're officially dead. People no longer listen to them. They don't believe them. And for good reason, they don't trust them. Remember, these are the same people. They all lied. They all said the border is closed. The border is secure. And Joe Biden is his best self and so cognitively strong. And those are cheap, fake videos that they're running about Joe Biden. Now, this time, the reasoning is even more ridiculous. Apparently, Democrats and democracy is in peril for three things. One, Donald Trump is enforcing America's immigration laws. That would be the rule of law. That would be his constitutional duty, and deporting people who are here illegally, prioritizing those who are convicted of heinous crimes, those murderers, rapists, known terrorists, cartel members, et cetera, et cetera. And two, Donald Trump deployed the National Guard to protect federal buildings and federal workers from rioters in Los Angeles. Three, the president organized a military parade to celebrate the Army's 250th birthday this weekend. Now, of course, every fake resistant movement, they need an equally superficial leader. And tonight, look who they've chosen. None other than the sanctuary state leader himself, Governor Gavin Newsom. And Governor Newsom is desperate for the spotlight, loving every minute of it. Now, that doesn't mean he's on the ground with the people and law enforcement in L.A. leading a movement to bring peace to a state's largest city. No. Instead, after spending the first few days of the L.A. riots getting into fights on X with people like me and others, and appearing on every left-wing legacy media outlet in the country like MSDNC, by the way, he even had time for podcasters. Newsom got in, and by the way, not big podcasters. Newsom got in front of another camera last night to deliver an impassioned plea all against Donald Trump. Talk about Trump derangement syndrome. Donald Trump takes up more space in Gavin's mind than pretty much anybody ever has taken up in anybody's mind. Although they did have a lot of audio problems if you were watching last night, and he did look tired. But he's not tired because he's on the ground helping the people of Los Angeles and offering moral support to law enforcement. No, the governor was tired from all the interviews he was doing. The governor who barred Californians from attending church, banned all indoor singing in 2020 while he himself was eating out, French laundry, sending his kids to in-person learning at private schools when everybody else's public school kids, they had to stay home. He has now declared that President Trump is, quote, assaulting the First Amendment. Now, by the way, nobody cares what people say. It's what they do that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Newsom insisted, quote, the founding fathers did not live and die to see this moment. That's right. They didn't live and die to see states like California destroyed by people like him.
Yep.
This dramatic, moralistic, pre-rehearsed tirade by Gavin Newsom was a response to President Trump's use of the National Guard and the U.S. Marines to protect federal buildings, federal workers during a riot. We keep reminding you that as per sanctuary status laws in California, sanctuary city laws in Los Angeles, local law enforcement is not allowed to aid and help and assist federal agents, that they were the ones that were under assault. Stephen Miller points this out. According to Gavin Newsom, this is what founders were fighting for. Rioters waving foreign flags, lighting cars on fire, looting stores because Donald Trump is actually enforcing this country's immigration law. Look at your screen. These are some of the criminal illegal aliens. Gavin, I've sent this to you. You have it. You've watched it. You asked me to carry your speech last night. Gavin, answer the people of California. Call the families of the victims on the screen. Put it up full so people can actually read it. Because you allowed this and aid and abet and assist these people. You give them free health care and education in your state of California. You and Democrats are fighting to protect people. Yes, some of them are killers and rapists and gang members and child molesters. And Gavin Newsom and leading Democrats, guess what? They're leading the movement to help keep them in the country as they sat idly by while 12, 20 million, whatever the number is, of illegal immigrants were entering our country unvetted under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Alejandro Mayorkas. They're moving to states like California so they can get taxpayer-funded education for their kids and they can get free health care in the state of California. No wonder why they're borrowing money from Medi-Cal. And by the way, other states contribute to health care out there. That has to stop. Once again, Democrats are taking the most extreme, the most unpopular position imaginable. Look at this new poll. Matt Towery, Insider Advantage. By the way, this guy actually nailed the 2016 presidential election, 2020 and 2024. 59% of voters approve of Donald Trump's decision to send in the Guard to California. Only 39% disagree. At the same time, 70% of Americans disapprove of D.C. Democrats. And by and large, people just want simple things. They want good schools where the kids learn reading, writing, math, science, arithmetic, and computers. They want stable jobs. Oh, Donald Trump has $10 trillion. Manufacturing.
Like Kennedy School. I want to go to Kennedy School
for prescription drugs and pharmaceuticals and chips and everything else and automobile manufacturing, all coming back to the country. And guess what? They don't want men playing in women's sports, Gavin. And all you coastal elites cramming woke politics into every corner of everybody's everyday life, they're sick of it. Gavin, nobody wants to be told what cars to drive and put in their driveway. We don't want to be told we can't have a gas stove. We don't want you to lecture us about our refrigerators, our AC units, and the fact that most people don't want crappy paper straws. We prefer plastic. People want safety. They want security. They want a secure border. They want a majority of Americans, what everybody wants. They want illegal immigrants deported. I don't care if you come to this country. I'm the product of immigrants. All four of my grandparents came legally from Ireland. Go through the process. Do it legally. I don't really give a rip where you come from. Welcome to our country. Give us time to vet you. Let's do a background check. Don't be a financial burden on the American people. And come in legally. And by the way, Americans do not want illegal immigrants prioritized over the lives of law enforcement and the
That
people
flag looks
in their
pretty
state,
new.
like
You know
California.
what I mean?
This is why
Flag looks
I've
like
been
it was
telling you,
given to him.
generational, transformational. There's a huge political shift unfolding before our eyes in this
I don't know
country.
what he's standing.
Democratic
What
Party,
does
they
that
have
gonna
lost the
make
plot.
him
Remember, it
like?
wasn't long ago Democrats
Like
sounded just
what
like President Trump on
like
illegal
what
immigration.
power does
Take a
he
look.
have that he's gonna be able to?
All Americans,
Like, it's
not only
crazy.
in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years.
I guess Gavin
and
Newsom
we
forgot
must
about
do
this, huh?
more to stop it.
Did Gavin
Bill
Newsom
Clinton
watch this?
sounds like Donald Trump. Boy, have times changed. Democrats have since traded in sound policy, common sense, for utter lunacy and insanity. Listen to the Chicago mayor, Brandon Johnson. Listen to this.
So much.
They're terrified. They are absolutely terrified.
Oh,
And
Lord,
that's,
this clown.
look, I remember a few stand-ups ago when I talked about what terrorism looks like. This is it. There should be no question to what our country would look like had the Confederacy won. We're seeing it on full display.
People being terrorized are law enforcement, the law-abiding people of Los Angeles that deserve to be protected by their government. By the way, Mayor Johnson, he has a whopping 6.6% approval rating. Great job, Mr. Mayor. Democratic Party, they are in shambles. The DNC already holding a re-election for two of their vice chairs, including David Hogg, after nonstop drama and infighting. Meanwhile, Senate Minority Leader Chuckie Schumer, his approval rating is at a 20-year low, 17%. Great job, Chuckie. And today he ran from the cameras when he was asked about the violent riots. Take a look.
Senator, what do Democrats mean when they say that the LA protests are peaceful? Senator, what do Democrats mean when they say that LA protests are peaceful? Thank you. Do you consider burning private property peaceful?
Now, there's a guy who I know well. He never ran away from a television camera his entire life. Now, tonight, I do have some good news for the Democratic Party. No matter how incompetent, unpopular, dishonest, weird, and bizarre they have become, their friends in the legacy media mob, they're always going to have their backs. And today, as per usual, predictably, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt forcefully, powerfully confronted the latest smear campaign against President Trump. Take a look.
So if there were peaceful protests on Saturday for the military parade, President Trump would allow that?
Of course the president supports peaceful protests. What a stupid question.
What a stupid question. And there were a lot of them today. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox.
She saw her. She had to flick her hair. We could go back and see, like, right here. Like, we could slow motion. Maybe we could see it in slow motion. Because I did see her flick her hair. Hold on. Let's see if we could go slow motion. I just want to see the playback in very slow motion. So let's see this.
President Trump would allow that.
Of course the president supports peaceful protests. What a stupid question.
Well, he said, "What a stupid question!" And look at the smirk. You saw the smirk, and she grabbed her hair. As I say, read people's body language. People speak more with body language than they do with words. That's why I tell people, always look at the face, look at the frowns, look at the eyes, look at the forehead, look at her cheekbone, look at the lips, like look at her throat, look at if she's clenching, look at the body posture. Look at the like her flicking the hair the way she did, and look at her face. I'm gonna play it one more time, and you're gonna see. Watch.
Stupid question.
Here it goes. Look look at the disappointment. Look at this the like you know like, and then she's going after her hair. Like that's not a pretty look. That's a look of defeat. That's a look like fuck, you know? Like that was a stupid question. It was literally a stupid question. And she's bossy, man. I love her. I love like she's a beast. I really like her energy. She is just doesn't. Oh man, I just love that little hair. If I play it maybe a little second more, I hope I could catch it. Let me see. There, she went right straight for the hair. She was like, "Oh, fuck, this bitch." You know what she wanted to say? It's fucking bitch. Like this is not a good look. It's not a good look. With your stupid questions, go back and read a book. I don't know. She just looks defeated right there. She looks super defeated. She really went deep for her hair. I have to play that again because look at her eyes. Like look at her eyes. Stupid question. Look at her eyes. She closed her eyes, smirk, and went for the hair. Okay, enough said. Let me come back to me. It's gotta be me. I'm so little. Look, I'm in the bottom. I wanted to make it big because Hannity deserves it, man. This guy's awesome. He's a treasure. He is a big time treasure. I known him for a very, very, very long time. He used to do a lot of news down in South Florida. That's how I know Hannity. Come back to me. Yeah, we're gonna go back to what's going on in Los Angeles, and then I got another one here that we got to catch up on. Let me come back over here. Yo, what's up, Tyson? What's going on, man? I showed your show earlier, a little earlier. I didn't get the notification. Well, I didn't get it on my computer, so I didn't get no notification on my screen that you came on. I so how it happened went to the YouTube because I was looking for something to pull up, and then I noticed like you had downloaded uploaded a video. It was like 8 minutes. I was like, bitch, I didn't get no notification. And it was like uploaded already for like 8 minutes. I was like, conspiracies. I tell you, it's fucked up. Don't fuck with me. You were giving my notification. But we played it. It was pretty cool. I was like, dude, that's a lot of drugs. The guns, that was crazy. And then the fact they were illegals. Hello. They were deported and they're back here again with that amount of drugs and guns. Can you imagine what's already here in this country? If they're able to do that, imagine the others that are here that are doing like even more. This is like, oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, yeah, it's the most peaceful protest I've ever seen in my life, man. I'm here as a witness. Let me see. Let me press play here. I don't think do I have to change the setting here? Let me see. Yeah, it's normal. Okay. Let me fix this so my other videos don't get messed up. Put it back to normal. And then we're gonna come over here and watch a little bit of the Live Now Fox and see what they're saying and what's peaceful or what's going on in LA.
Thanks for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Christina Evans. We do want to continue on with our coverage of some of today's top stories, and this includes one of the trials that we've been focusing on very closely here in our newsroom. If you've been watching Live Now from Fox, you will have seen that we've been covering the ins and outs of the Karen Reed retrial, and it is official. Today, the defense rested their case. This follows following heated cross-examination from their final witness as well. So again, if you're unfamiliar with the Karen Reed story, this is the second trial
It's a weird
round
story.
that she's been charged with second-degree murder and manslaughter while operating a vehicle underneath the influence and leaving the scene. This is all over the prosecution. They're saying that Karen Reed struck her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, with her SUV back in 2022 and left him to die in the snow outside of a house party in Canton, Massachusetts. We've been covering this case for quite some time as things
You know what I
heating up
feel?
there in the courtroom. And now I'm going to bring into
I
the
feel like that was an
conversation legal
accident.
analyst Nicole DeBoard. Nicole, thanks so much for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. It's almost shocking that we've gotten to this point, but this is the day we've been waiting on.
This could be accident.
Leading up to closing arguments later this week.
That is right. We have been waiting for exactly just over a month. And so that is a very long trial. And there have been, I believe, over 40 witnesses. There have been many heated exchanges in the courtroom. And on Friday, we'll have the opportunity to see closing arguments from both sides where they're going to summarize this lengthy and actually quite complicated testimony and evidence into what they believe are the shortest, most concise summaries of what happened here.
And so as we're taking a look at some of this footage today from the courtroom, the defense ended their case. They rested, as it is called. Can you sort of walk us through what that means? We know the prosecution did this just a little while ago.
I'm thinking, man, that could have been just an accident.
For the prosecution to call a rebuttal witness. Isn't that right?
That's exactly right. So when the prosecution rests for the beginning, they pass the case off to the defense. So the defense can call or not call witnesses as they see fit. And sometimes after the prosecution rests, the defense doesn't call any witnesses and the case is over in terms of testimony. In this case, though, as we know, the defense called quite a few witnesses, including expert witnesses, to rebut the things that the states, the Commonwealth's experts had to say. And so once the defense rests, that means they are done putting on their evidence. They don't have any additional witnesses to call. The Commonwealth has the right to call their own witnesses again. And in this case, they elected not to do so. So that means the presentation of evidence in this case has now concluded, and on we go to closing arguments.
And so as it pertains to some of those closing arguments, let's jump into that because that can be one of the most exciting parts as you're watching some of these cases. Again, there are cameras there in the courtroom. A lot of this also played out for folks who've been interested in this since her first trial last year in that Max documentary. But walk us through what closing arguments could look like for both sides. We know that Karen Reed's defense has often pointed to the fact saying that she's been framed. They said it again in court today. What else is the prosecution also going to be focused on in their set of closing arguments?
So each side is going to paint a very different picture, as we can tell from the evidence and testimony we heard so far. The prosecution's argument is going to be urging the jurors to consider that this case is simple, that the evidence points to the fact that Karen Reed struck O'Keefe with her vehicle and that he died as a result of that impact there in the snow. They're going to say that the evidence that was collected and the expert testimony from the witnesses that they called, and even from some of Karen Reed's own statements made on documentaries or things that were recorded and then introduced into evidence at trial, point to that. Of course, the defense is going to say exactly the opposite, that the investigation in this case was quite sloppy and that probably that was done in order to cover up the fact that the death of O'Keefe was caused, in fact, by members of the police department who were charged with investigating this very case. So I think these will be indeed very exciting closing arguments.
And so, as well as we heard from Karen outside of the courthouse, yet again today, Nicole, we've spoken about this quite at length, talking about the fact that she chooses to speak more in the court of public opinion because it was made official this week that she wouldn't be taking the witness stand. But again, continuing to make public comments during this retrial. What's your take on that?
Well, she's not under the gag order. The lawyers can't speak to the press, but she can, and she has elected to do so, which is quite the unusual move because everything that she says, as we have learned from the prosecution's presentation of evidence in their case in chief, it could be used against her in court. She's been very careful about the things that she said when she comes out. I can guarantee you that there's been a great deal of planning in terms of what she says and what she doesn't say and how many questions she'll answer for the press. And so far, none of the things that she said on the courthouse steps after breaking for the day have come back in the trial itself. But we do know that things that she said in other contexts to the press, even things that didn't make it onto the air or onto the TV, were used against her and could be quite damaging for some jurors anyway.
And Nicole, I have to ask you, next steps after closing arguments. That's when the jury goes in to deliberate. Can you sort of walk us through what they'll be
I'd be
focused on?
one
We know that,
difficult
again, the judge
juror
case
for
will
this
give them
one.
very specific
This is a weird ass
instructions
fucking
on what they need to be
case.
paying attention to.
That's right. The
I
judge is
think
going
this
to
is a
give
weird
these jurors a jury
motherfucking case,
charge, which is an
man.
official set of
Can we
instructions
just have
about
a
the
hung
law that
jury?
they are to
We
consider
can just get
and
the
the
fuck
way
out
that
of
the
this. This
deliberations
is
are to
like
take place. These jurors who have been very attentive and taking notes throughout the trial are going to go back, go over those instructions, and they're going to be debating amongst themselves what facts they found to be most compelling and what was important to them. And it's possible that they could all agree about what those facts are. And it's very possible, like in many circumstances, especially with a long and complicated presentation of evidence, that there will be jurors who see the evidence quite differently from one another.
he fell. He got
And
scratched
again,
up.
so we'll be watching very closely here on Live Now from Fox as those closing arguments are set to get underway Friday. Again, showcasing some of even what the jury has been seeing in court. It's been pretty graphic at certain times for this trial, but again, one that at this point may come to an
This
end
case is
as
very
soon
weird.
as a few weeks from now. So again, Nicole DeBoer,
I
legal
didn't
analyst, here to
even
help us break
cover
down
it.
the latest.
It's just too
Nicole,
weird for
actually,
me.
before I let you go, we know that the last trial ended in a mistrial, and now that's why we're in the second case. Do you
Yeah.
foresee that happening a second time, or would that
Yeah, I
just
do.
be too strange to happen in this case?
It would indeed be strange, but it is indeed possible. The
Yeah.
prosecutor in this case really did a great job of presenting thorough evidence, but the defense did an incredible job of cross-examining all of the witnesses presented by the Commonwealth and presenting their own contradictory expert testimony. So it could easily happen again.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting. We'll continue to watch for the verdict. Again, we'll be checking in with Nicole DeBoer as well as we
Yeah, it
learn
should be a
more.
hung
I
jury.
appreciate your time as always.
I know with me, it
Thanks
would
for
have been
having
hung.
me.
Like if I,
All right,
if I was
wanted to get
in
that
that
story in
courtroom,
for
I'd
you
be
here
like,
on Live
oh
Now
boy,
from Fox. And of course, as we've been continuing to follow those protests that are
we're
happening
not gonna
around the
come to an
country, we'll
agreement.
get back to that coverage in just a second. But I want to play out just a few of those remarks that Karen Reed herself made outside of the courtroom today. Let's listen in.
Oh Lord.
Fair and truthful, civic-minded citizens of Norfolk County.
What do you want the jurors to know as they go get their instructions?
I just hope they were listening. They're in the same room I was for the last, I don't know how many days that was, 33 days.
31.
Given what we saw play out in the last trial regarding the verdict forms and what we now know that the jury found unanimously came to a conclusion, what are your concerns going into it this time around?
Obviously, after what happened in the first trial and what we heard from the jurors that came forward, we just have to have an even keener eye on the verdict form and the jury instructions.
Okay, guys, here we go.
Switch to the police investigation to focus.
No more questions, guys.
Thank you.
I think she answered a few questions.
Even though you guys are still.
Yeah, what do you think the jury thought of your last one?
No more questions. No more questions.
Thank you, Karen.
Bye, guys. Thanks, y'all.
All right, as you see there, that was Karen Reed making remarks outside of the courtroom alongside her superstar lawyer, Alan Jackson.
Those are her
We know that
supporters.
he's in from California just to help out with this case. But this is the scene that was outside of that courtroom there in Dedham, Massachusetts today. All of these supporters there on hand.
Yeah,
for
that's
Karen
why.
Reed. And you can see
And they're
Alan
at
Jackson
peace.
waving
Look, this is very
alongside, but they've
peaceful.
been there,
This is
very loyal
peace.
crowd there that has been there throughout
This
the
is
length
this
of
is
this
support.
trial. Again,
This is
they're
what you call
supporting Karen.
support
They
and,
believe that
very
she's
peaceful
innocent.
with an American
The case
flag.
has
They had
now
an American
officially
flag.
listed as of today. We'll continue to listen in
They had
as
an
those
American
closing
flag.
arguments are going to get underway on Friday. Wanted to give
Oh,
you that
this
update
gives me
here on Live Now
goosebumps,
from
man.
Fox. Let's take this time to slide away for a 2-minute commercial break. On the other side,
All right,
though,
while she's going on break, I can fast forward it, so that's not a problem. We can come back to me. I tell you, that fucking case is weird. It's weird as fuck. I tell you right now, hung jury with me. I'm like, listen, whatever y'all, it's not gonna. It's like it's gonna be hung. It's gonna be a hung jury. It's just a weird. I just feel it was like it's an accident type of thing. It is what it is, man. It happens sometimes. It's not like punishment for all. Like you don't go to court to be punished. You go to court to go through the system to be proven. You have to be proven guilty. You're still innocent until proven guilty. I thought that's like how it goes, right? It's not like you walk in there, you're guilty, and then we have to prove your innocence. When did that change? When did the freaking like the I like how they put the lady with the eye covering, so they're blinded. It's like Lady Justice she can't judge because she only hears, she's not seeing, and she can't judge them by sight. But lately, she's been peeking through those damn blinders, and she's been choosing, and it's been weird. The justice system has been very fucking weird. But this case, I don't, I just think it's an accident. I mean, you can throw all the witnesses and all the stuff you want, and you could paint her a pig if you want, but I just the energy is just how it is. It's just very. I don't know, man. It's just not. It's just. Yeah, it's just a very weird case, man. It's a very weird case, but I feel her innocence, man, and I feel like it could be a hung. It could be a hung case. It's just with me in it. Yes, it'll definitely be hung. Like it'll be like a mistrial, and she can't be retrialed. This will be the third time. No, they can't do it. I think it's 2 times, and I think it's it. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just weird. Let's go. Let's check out. Oh, some horses! Fucking horses! I love horses. I told you I love fucking horses. So let's check out some horses. I could speed this up and make it live, but I'm gonna wait because I'm looking at some horses, and the horses are wearing some face shields, and they are ready. They feel good. These horses are like, yeah, we're ready. We're gonna kick some ass tonight. You ready? Look, we're not racist. I'm white. You're black back there. You're brown. That's what's up, man. We got all races of horses here. We're not racist. We work together as a team. This is what you call brotherhood. We're in formation. We stand in formation. Here, let me get it here. Some beautiful horses. Look at these horses. Little ponies are doing like. Look how beautiful, man. They show a white one. Those a white one. I was like, these horses are not racist. They're all different colors. They got black, white, brown. They respect each other. They're all chilled out. They're ready to work. Trust me, you don't want to get hit by a horse. I'm just saying. I mean, a kick from a horse could really fuck you up. And a horse, don't hurt a horse. Why would you want to do that? You know, there's crazy people that would too. Like, I think that if they was to hurt a horse, everybody should stop where they're at and be like, Oh man, why you do that, man? What the fuck? And just give him up. Just give that person up. And then, all right, we're gonna continue. Hold on a second. Yo, put this guy in cuffs. That was fucked up. Yo, you hit the horse. You can't do that, man. You know? I'm like, time out, everybody. Hold on, time out. Don't move. Yo, dude, you hit the horse, man. You come over here. We gotta take you in, man. That was fucked up, man. Look at the horse. Look at him. Now he's pissed. He's looking at you like he wants to eat you now. He wants to kick you. So for your safety, let me put these cuffs on you. We're gonna put you in this bus right here. This white bus that's coming in the screen. We're gonna throw your ass right in here, okay? And we're gonna take you right to jail. Don't hurt the fucking horse. A lot of people are getting arrested tonight. They're getting the all the buses ready. I'm telling you, the jail system's gonna be making a lot of money. This is how you're gonna get the system's gonna get paid, and it's gonna help pay for a lot of what's going on the streets. Arrest the motherfuckers and charge them and fine them. And too bad you do the crime, you gotta do the time. Especially the looters. That was horrible. Oh man, the looters. Mm-mm. But look, the horses, they're standing in formation. Mm-mm. Standing in formation. Mm-mm. They're ready to rock tonight. Fucking horses, they're gonna go just hit you in the head. They're gonna do one of these. Like I'll show you right now. They're gonna do one of these. They go, and they're gonna poke your eyes. The horse is gonna poke your eyes. You're like, oh shit, man, my fucking eyes. It's like, yeah, man, you're illegal. You gotta go in the pen. So let's go back to the beeping. Another bus coming in. This one's a black one. See, we're not racist. We got a white bus and we got a black bus. We got a segregation. We got a segregation buses here. It's like over here we'll put the black people, I guess, and then the other one we can put the white people. Like, but they're all Mexicans, so I guess they're gonna put them in the black bus. So all the Mexicans, they're gonna go in this bus too, and on the white one too. They're gonna throw everybody up in this. I mean, they're gonna bring all their old school buses. This bus looks like it's from like the '70s. This is some Partridge Family bus. This is an old school bus that the ones that you have to open up the windows. Like it had that button and you gotta fucking push it. And it was so hard, like in high school. You're like, fuck, man, this window don't fucking. It's so hard. Yeah, those buses. I remember those buses. Like when I went to high school, it was pretty cool though. We had a cool bus driver. I like the bus driver because sometimes they would wait for us. When we were coming, they would wait for us. They'll look in the mirrors and they see us coming, they will wait. I used to like our bus driver. But those days that I would sleep in a little bit and then I'm like, oh fuck. So I would run to school. We're talking about a couple of miles from where I used to live. I used to run cross country back in high school, so for me, I would get there quick. I would get to school quick. I probably would get there quicker than the bus. To be honest with you, I was pretty fast. I used to run a lot. I ran track and field and cross country. I got injured running cross country. I hurt my shin running cross country. That shit was painful. Oh, the shin injury. Oh my god, that was so fucking painful. Ugh, I couldn't run for a while. Man, you blocked my horses, man. Fuck. Can we move these buses out the way? I had a good view of the fucking horses. Now I have a view of a segregational freaking bus that has bars on it. Damn, that's an old school bus too, man. These are some old school buses. Yo, LA needs to upgrade their shit. I mean, what they say, if it ain't broke, use it. I mean, it's a cheap way, yeah. Oh look, they already got people. Look, there's someone there. They arrested somebody. Oh look. Oh shit, their curfew started, right? It's a 8 p.m. curfew. It starts at 8. It's already 8 o'clock there. Oh shit. I wonder what this guy's story is. I wonder what's his story. Look, he's bonded. He's in handcuffs. Plastic handcuffs. I wonder how much this is gonna cost him. And I wonder what the charge he's getting. Obstruction? I wonder what his story is. I wonder where he's from, what country he's from. Maybe he's an ICE case? Maybe he has to go to ICE? Oh, here's another person they got. Female. They're going through her things right now. Look at that face. She's regretting everything right now. There's a lot of people getting arrested. Oh, they not playing today. These cops are ready. They're like, man, we've been waiting all year for this shit. We're gonna catch some fucking Democrats tonight. Yo, let's go. Let's catch some Democrats. Look, another one, the blue over there. That's already 3 people I saw. Let's go. We need more around this country because it's gonna be hot for the whole week is gonna be hot, man. I wish I was so wrong, man, when I said the next 2 weeks is gonna be crazy. Oh man, I wish I could take that back, but I can't. I go with what I feel. It's the energy, you know. If I stay quiet, then why be on YouTube? Right? You be on YouTube because you're special. You have talent. You have capabilities, and you're special. And there's a lot of special people on YouTube. Uh-oh. Oh, they're moving the media. They're moving the police are moving them. Police ain't playing tonight. They don't give a fuck about the media. They're like, listen, you move. Get away from the bus because they're going to start putting the people in the bus. Oh, maybe one's male, one female bus. So they separate them. Yeah, that's what it is. This is the male bus. So they use the black bus for the males and the white bus for the female. Don't tell me that's another bus. You gonna block my horse view? Yeah, so much fucking work to do. I know, like, they're gonna be busy, but they gotta do it. These people, you gotta stop them now because it's gonna get worse on Saturday. Saturday is gonna be a really bad. It's gonna be really Friday and Saturday. Oh man, for any protest riot type of things, if they last the whole week and they get to the weekends are usually the worst. And Fridays and Saturdays are usually the high volume of individuals because then the weekend people are off and people can join, more people can join, and then make it more rowdy. Um, so usually Fridays and Saturdays are pretty bad, and this Saturday is Flag Day. It's actually Trump's birthday, which is amazing. It's Trump's birthday. And also, it's the anniversary, the 250th anniversary of the United States Army. So, there's a big celebration being held in Washington, where the army is there, and it's Trump's birthday. And I felt like this is all premeditated. Everything that you see with the demonstration, all the protesters, I think it's all run by the DNC. And this is my beliefs. So YouTube, don't get mad at me because I am psychic. And I read the energy. Um, I believe the DNC is playing a big role in this. They want to spoil Trump's day. They want to spoil his birthday. They want to spoil the celebration of the 250 years of the armed forces, and I feel it's a super disgrace. I mean, it's a disgrace, and the fact that these, like, I'm happy that the police is stepping up and starting to arrest people, and they need to arrest more. We can't let this continue to go on into the weekend, because if you don't arrest them, they're gonna come back, and they're gonna come back with friends, and more people. And we need to start having accountability again. Make accountability great again. Tyson, if you're here, man, make that shirt. Make accountability great again. I'm giving you the slogan. Make money, Tyson. Tyson's here. I don't know. I think he probably stepped out. But oh, he's here. Tyson, do it, man. Like, you can make it really cool. Make accountability great again. It's mega. Like, we need accountability back, man. I've been saying it for the longest. I want you to make it as a T-shirt and sell it. I'll buy one. Just have a cool design. Do like a cool design, and make accountability great again. I'll fucking buy it. I was thinking. I'm actually. I had some shirts made for my show here. Probably gonna send Albie one, because Albie's always all right. Yeah, send it to me. Show me the design, and I'll approve it. I'll see if it's good. But make accountability great again. We have to have that, because right now there's chaos, and it's just there's no accountability. Look at Mayor Karen Bass, the way she's talking, and you saw I don't know, you saw the press conference with her today. She looked so mad. She looked like she's gonna blow up at any moment. She looks like a fucking colonel that's gonna turn into a fucking popcorn at any second, because she's overcooking inside, and I feel like she's gonna pop at any second. Because that bitch is salty. She is so salty. Oh my goodness, she's salty. And man, she is sticking to the Democrat playbook. She's trying to stick to the playbook. And now they're doing a nationwide no kings protest that's going to be nationwide. They're already starting to advertise it here for Connecticut, which is disgusting. Let me see if I can bring up the video, because I have it, because I watched it earlier. Give me one sec. I thought that was crazy. But yeah, they got a student from here. That's crazy. Here it is. Let me open it. Show it to you guys real quick. Let's see something. Go back here. All right. Okay. So I think I got the video. Let me pause it here. Since I'm doing it live, it's a little bit different, you know. there's no edits with this. Just gotta hit pause here, so we'll just continue there for a second. Let me jump around, come over here. Okay, let's open this up, and let's play.
5,000 people Large rallies expected around the country and Connecticut this week. They're protesting against the Trump administration. Organizers have planned a protest for Saturday outside the state capitol in Hartford.
And your reporter Dylan Fearon is live there with the details right now. Dylan.
That's what's up, Tyson.
Well, there are more than
Yeah, work on it.
1,800
And show me,
protests
and then I'll
this
sign off on it. I'll be like, hell
nationwide,
yeah.
At least 30 in Connecticut on Saturday.
make
The
it
one
like,
outside the state capitol here in Hartford starts at
we
11
have to
o'clock
make
in the morning
accountability
Saturday.
great again,
And
man.
organizers have picked Saturday, June 14th for many reasons, but two in
And
particular.
then we can send
It's
one to
Flag
Trump.
Day and
Send
President
it to
Trump's
Trump. Say,
birthday.
look, man, we send you a shirt.
Christine and Patrick Farley will be at Saturday's rally, getting their
I'm sure he's
sign
an extra
ready.
large.
King-free since 1776.
And there are no kings in these United States, and we're working to make sure that that stays that way.
The theme of the protest is no kings, accusing President Trump of authoritarianism, claiming his administration has launched an assault on democracy. You may have trouble driving around near the Capitol Saturday. Organizers expect a few thousand here.
It's just very upsetting to see that our country has come to this point where
Is this a fucking
we've
guy or
got,
female? I don't
Army,
know what it is.
Marines in the streets, National Guard fighting.
Sounds like a guy, but it might be a
peaceful,
chick. I don't know.
Protesters who are simply exercising their First Amendment rights to protest against what's going on.
Jim Chapdelaine is one of the organizers. He's with Indivisible CT, a grassroots organization focused on local action.
The umbrella for all of this is democracy. So without democracy,
Lord.
you can't address
Democracy.
the
What's he
immigrant situation. You
smoking?
can't address climate change. You can't address LGBTQ. Any of the things that come under that, you can address and solve with a functioning democracy.
Organizers claim the No Kings rallies across the country is a nationwide day of defiance. Protesters are against the ICE raids, the mass deportations, and against the multi-million-dollar taxpayer-funded festival and parade commemorating the Army's 250th anniversary this weekend, which protesters believe is also to celebrate President Trump's birthday. 41 grassroots
It's his
groups will be
birthday
here
too.
Saturday.
It was on his birthday.
The
What
only
the
way
fuck do
to
you want?
combat this incipient, if not actual fascism, is to just constantly be present, be out there, be demonstrating, be making our point of view heard. It's not acceptable.
Capitol Police will also be
She's
here
just in
Saturday
the
morning,
Bridge
making sure
Club. I don't
things
know what
remain
the fuck
peaceful,
she's
which the
doing out here
organizers
being
are committed to.
politicians.
Hartford Police will also be monitoring the situation just in case they have to step in over the weekend. I'm your reporter live in Hartford tonight, Dylan Fearon, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Oh man, let's go back to Live Now, Fox. Let me see if I could just fast forward that break that she went on. But I could fast forward it. Oh no, the Karen Basshole again. Oh man. She's just a Karen Basshole. That's why I call her, Karen Basshole. That maybe you can make a shirt out of that one too, Tyson. Karen Basshole. Because I think she's a basshole. And then you just change the words, you could call her asshole. But we could call her Karen Basshole. You know? It's like Rick is on fire tonight. It's like, man.
Until 6 a.m. local time. So again, we're watching as all of these LAPD officers as well as other joint forces are there on the ground, making sure that they'll be in place to enforce this curfew when it begins. In the meantime, we heard a little bit earlier today from LA's mayor, Karen Bass, as she announced this. Let's go ahead and listen.
Oh, the
in
Basshole.
while also still keeping our vantage point of these live pictures we have
I
there.
can't wait
in
till they
LA.
arrest her. Oh no, she's wearing green. She's the Joker today. Oh no, she's the Joker. All you gotta do is just put some paint on her face. She already has the smile. She got the look already as the Joker. All you gotta do is just paint that face white. And that smile.
Good
She already has
afternoon,
the
everyone.
smile, the Joker smile.
Let me just say that I am proud to stand here with leaders from our region. There are over 30 mayors represented here who I think reflect the concerns that are going on in our communities right now. A week ago, everything was peaceful in the city of Los Angeles. and in all of the representatives behind me in their cities as well. Things began to be difficult on Friday when raids took place. And it's important that I begin there because that is the cause of the problems that have happened in the city of Los Angeles and other cities. This was a
This
was provoked
It's
by the White
Connecticut has
House.
good pizza.
The reason why, we don't know.
Connecticut has
I
really good pizza.
posit that maybe we are part of a national experiment
That's
to
true, but
determine
Connecticut
how
has
far
good
the
pizza.
federal government can go in reaching in
I don't
and
go to New
taking
York.
over
I haven't
power
been
from
to
a
New York
governor,
since Letitia
power
James
from a
been
local jurisdiction,
AG.
and frankly,
I'm
leaving our city and our
until she gets
citizens, our
fired. When she gets
residents
fired, that's when
in
I'll go back
fear.
to New York.
All of us represent
So I'm
cities in this
hoping to go to New
region
York in
where
a few weeks.
immigrants are
So
key. And if in some
because they need to
cases
get
not
rid
the
of her.
majority of
She's
the
a
population,
fucking clown.
to have
She's probably
people
happy
live
right
in
now because
fear
the
like it
attention is
is
not on
today
her.
is just
It's
unacceptable.
on this
So we
what's going
started
on right
off
now.
by hearing the administration wanted to go after violent felons, gang members,
Listen to
drug
this
dealers.
clown.
But when you raid Home Depots and workplaces, when you tear parents and children apart, and when you run armored caravans through our streets, you're not trying to keep anyone safe. You're trying to cause fear and panic.
He's a weirdo.
And when you start deploying federalized troops on the heels of these raids, it is a drastic and chaotic escalation and completely unnecessary. These aren't the criminals the administration is allegedly targeting. These are mothers and fathers, restaurant workers, seamstress, home care workers, everyday Angelinos trying to make a living. We've heard stories of unmarked federal vans parked near
Hold on.
LAUSD
Let me get
school
my violin.
graduations.
I
A
need to get my
U.S.
violin.
citizen, 9 months pregnant, who was hospitalized after being detained by
I can use
federal
my
agents,
bell.
and an apparel business in downtown LA raided, where many Korean and Latino workers work long hours to support their families. Let me just say that I am very proud to stand here with the mayors, the leadership of so many cities, but you should take note that the individuals that are here with me today are all leaders in their area, and we all stand in support and solidarity and call for the raids to end. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Mayor Lemons from the city of Paramount.
Thank you, Mayor Bass, for bringing us together today and for your leadership in this difficult time. I stand before you today as the mayor of Paramount, a proud, tight-knit community that has been deeply shaken by recent events.
Crazy.
In the last few days, our residents have faced loss, uncertainty, and fear. For many in our city, this has been one of the most devastating moments in recent memory. Lives have been disrupted, families are too afraid to leave their homes, and the very places that once served as gathering spots for joy, like our beloved swap meet, have been marred by fear. As a vibrant gathering place for our diverse community, some are avoiding going to work. It continues to get worse as these loyal vendors are forced to stay away out of fear of losing their livelihood.
They're
For some, it's
illegal.
the only way they feed their families. To see
Hello.
everyone hurt like this is
If
heartbreaking.
they were legal workers,
Last
if they
night
had
at our
work
city
visas,
council meeting,
that's
we
different.
heard from our
They don't
residents.
have that.
Their
They're
anger, their
illegal.
fear, and their uncertainty about the
Oh
future is
Lord
understandable.
Jesus.
Not only
Help
did we
me,
hear it
please.
last night,
Are you watching what's
myself
going
and
on?
members of the city council
Where are
witnessed
you?
the devastation firsthand that Saturday morning.
You
We
sleeping
share the
again?
same anger,
I
sadness,
know, I've
and
been sleeping
trauma.
too. I'm
Then
tired.
to see the presence of the National
But
Guard
there's
in our
no excuse,
city, it
Jesus.
only makes
You're
things
supposed to be
worse
paying
and
attention
leads
to
to
everything here.
unnecessary escalation. We can and will do
I know.
better to serve and advocate for our immigrant population. I want to speak directly to the people of Paramount. We see you, we hear you, and we are with you. We acted last night and directed staff to create a special fund that will financially help our immigrant families affected during this challenging time. And it doesn't stop there. The City Council and staff are working tirelessly to develop other means of support and assistance, doing more to support our community. We will also be
Jalapenos.
seeking
I like
out our
jalapenos. You know
residents
why I
who
like
have been
jalapenos?
directly impacted so that they may
I like
hear from
jalapenos
so
on
that
my
we may hear
popcorn.
from them and provide direct support.
When I go to the movies,
paramount is
I always
resilience.
get
We've
a
been
side
through
of
challenges
jalapenos.
before, and we will
I like to
rise
eat it with the
together.
popcorn.
We
It
are
tastes
also
good.
grateful
Like
for the
I guess like
regional
the butter,
collaboration that's
the
happening
salt from
right
the
now.
popcorn
We
and the
cannot
jalapenos.
face this alone.
Oh my
This is a
god, it tastes
moment
so
for
fucking
cities
good.
to stand
It does. I'm
united,
gonna go to the movies
regardless of our
just to go eat
boundaries,
popcorn.
because when one community
Watch
is
the
hurting,
movie, but I'm not
we
there for the
all
movie. I'm there for
feel
the
it.
popcorn.
To our neighboring cities, to the county, to the state agency, and to Mayor Bass, thank you for extending a hand to our residents. Your support means the world. And next we have Arturo Flores, Mayor Arturo Flores from Huntington Park.
Thank you so much, Mayor Lemons, for those remarks. Good morning. My name is Arturo Flores. I am the mayor of the beautiful city of Huntington Park. I myself am a combat veteran of the United States Marine Corps. I've served in the theaters of Iraq and Afghanistan in defense of this country and in defense of the Constitution of the United States. Militarization of immigration enforcement has no place in our neighborhoods. And the deployment of Marines on U.S. soil is an alarming escalation that undermines the values of democracy.
Does this guy realize that
As
20
mayors
million
across
escaped
this region, we
inside
stand
the United
united
States?
in rejecting
Over
fear-based
20
tactics
million?
that
Over
target
20
immigrant
million?
communities and erode public
Like,
trust. Let me say
there's no
that one more time.
excuse.
We
You could
stand
talk,
against
but all I hear
these
is
fear-based
whiny,
tactics
whiny,
that
whiny
target
little
immigrant
bitch.
communities and erode public trust.
I want
We
to ring
call
my
on federal
bell.
leaders to uphold civil rights and the militarization of enforcement and to pursue
I haven't used it in
humane,
a while, man.
community-centered solutions. Our communities are not battlegrounds. Deploying military forces and conducting militarized ICE raids in immigrant neighborhoods is not about public safety. It is about political theater that is rooted in fear. It threatens families, traumatizes children, and corrodes the foundational trust between local government and the people that we serve. I stand shoulder to shoulder with Mayor Bass and with my fellow leaders and fellow mayors here, and any leader who values justice over intimidation. We will protect our residents. We will speak out against unconstitutional actions.
Very expensive
And we will
bell.
continue to build cities where all people, regardless of immigration status, can live without fear. I understand that the deployment of
It's priceless
700
to me,
Marines out
but
of 29
this is
Palms, and I believe
expensive.
the
It's
unit is
heavy.
27, have been deployed to
But
the
I
Los
love the
Angeles
way it
area.
rings,
I have a message for
and I love
those
the
Marines
vibration from it.
who are probably watching. Brothers, I myself have fought in different theaters. I fought wars. And I will
So,
tell you
is
this,
this guy the puppet?
the people that you are
Because
here,
the way that she's looking
who
at
have been
him, it's
called
like
foreigners,
very puppet-like.
are not foreigners. These are Americans. And when we lifted our hands and we swore the oath to defend the Constitution and to defend this country, that oath was to the
Yeah,
American
but
people.
if you're coming
It
from
was
other
not to a
countries and you're
dictator.
sneaking
It
in
was not
through
to
the
a tyrant.
border, and
It was
then
not
now
to a
you're trying to
president.
be
It was to the American
staying
people.
here, which you
And
know
the
you
people that are
cannot
here
stay
in these
here,
communities, in the city of LA,
and you're
and the
trying to
cities that you're
defend
here from,
them and trying to keep
are
them here.
Americans.
No, that is
Whether
illegal,
they have a document
and you're
or they
aiding and
don't,
abetting.
you're dealing with
I'm
Americans.
sorry.
So please remember that. If you're
Remember
ever
that.
put in a
You're
situation
aiding and
or
abetting.
asked to do something, remember, you are dealing with Americans.
They're not
With that being said, I'd like
Americans.
to introduce Mayor
They're
Judith Bernal from the
illegals.
city of Vernon.
They're going after illegals. Why are you
Sí,
talking
en
about
español,
Americans?
mi nombre es Arturo Flores, yo soy el alcalde
Ah,
de la ciudad de
Arturo, mira que
Huntington Park.
habla este.
Estoy aquí hoy yo como veterano de los
Mexicano.
Estados
Tú eres
Unidos de la
mexicano
Marina
porque estás hablando como
para decirle al
mexicano.
público que lo
Ok.
que está pasando
Habla
no está
mierda. Eso es lo
bien.
que está haciendo,
Yo he
hablando
peleado
mierda.
en guerras y yo tengo un mensaje para los
He's
marines,
full of
los
shit.
700 marines que están aquí en Los Ángeles hoy en día.
Come on, I
Que
can
las
fast
personas
forward
que
it.
hoy
I
que
don't need
ellos
to
van
listen to
a
this
ver,
shit. It's just too much shit. Let's go back to like what's going on the streets. Yeah, I know Spanish. I'm pretty fluent in Spanish, but
So, largely quiet.
in Southern California.
It's crazy.
This is a similar scene to what we saw around this time yesterday as well. Now, once the curfew goes into effect, as we've got two different vantage points of
Illegal
downtown
is
LA,
it's illegal. There's no ways around it.
going to be
You
watching
know,
closely
if you
to
came
see
in through the
how quickly
border
we
and you
start to see
rushed in
arrests. If we
illegally,
do see arrests,
it's illegal. You did not go through the process. You're here illegally.
I will also say
Yeah,
that
you got comfortable because you went to a
the
sanctuary city and they just loved you to death because they saw a
seeing
future
this live
voter.
vantage point where we do see
So
a
they
few
sold the
people with
vote.
those flexi
You sold
cups.
your soul
This
to
is
the
how they've
devil,
been
and the
detaining
devil gave you
those
money
who have been arrested.
and housing and
See
food
if we can hear
and
anything from this
medical.
vantage point.
And and now the
Much
gig's
the
up,
same. So
right? Trump's like, the gig is up. That's
around
it. No more.
8:45 last
No
night,
more money, no more
about 45 minutes
freebies, no more
after
housing,
curfew,
no more
we
medical.
saw, and by the
No,
way, the
you're
curfew just
illegal.
went into
Guess
effect.
what? You're going back home.
Clock strikes 8.
You're going
That
home.
means we are officially now within a
Illegal is
curfew range,
illegal.
and that means that
Look at all the
there's
people
more people
arrested.
already being arrested.
Wow, look at all the people being arrested.
Fox 11 Los Angeles coming over the air with their 8 p.m. newscast.
So that means
Let's listen in
I'm
on what
38
they've
minutes
learned
behind,
about today's
or 30 minutes
protests.
behind.
People
So
that
a lot
are
of people are being
seemingly
arrested.
being detained with the skirmish line right behind them. The people with the green caps,
Yeah,
not
they're
quite
definitely gonna
sure
need
who
the
they are,
Marine.
but when you see people down on the
They're
ground
gonna
like
fucking
that,
send in
it
the
seems as
army
if that they
too.
are
After
either
250 years.
protesting by being on the ground or perhaps being detained.
I know the
Not quite
army's
sure.
like, fuck, man, we could be doing this too, man. This sounds fun.
part of some kind of law
I know
enforcement.
it would have been me.
informing the
I know
people
I
of
would
the
have been fucking
process
happy.
of
I'd have been like,
the
hell yeah, let's go.
arrest, of being detained, of what that looks like, and what
I'm
the
gonna have
steps
some
are, and how
fun
that's going to
tonight.
go. Again, much smaller crowd, and the LAPD really enforcing that 8 p.m. crackdown at 8 p.m. Yesterday, we did see that there was a lot more leeway in the shots that we were taking. There had been that vigil at Grand Park where people probably were still streaming out as well. But once it got dark, you definitely started seeing more and more arrests. Well, earlier today on the 5 and the 6, you showed a really healthy crowd in front of
You know
City
what they can
Hall.
do, right? They go
So you
somewhere
figure
else.
those people
They'll
had
end
to
up
figure
taking it
out
somewhere
how to
else.
get out of downtown LA before this curfew went into effect. So again, we are just a minute or so into the 8 o'clock curfew that will continue till 6 a.m. And that very wide shot of the downtown and greater area there. All right, good evening. You are watching LA Live News Tonight. I'm Christine Devine. And thanks so much for joining us. I'm Susan Hirasuna, here for Marla Tellez. The curfew covers 1 square mile of downtown LA, and this is the second consecutive night the curfew isn't in effect, and
I
it will
wonder
go
why
on
they say
until
1 square
necessary. We
mile.
did see protesters today, and they did clash with law
Out of
enforcement.
everything that they could
after
say, they
mostly
say
peaceful
one
protests throughout the
1
day.
mile.
The
This is
question
the
now, how is it
the
looking
1
as
mile.
the curfew is underway at
I don't know.
When we go live to Fox 11's Ed Lascos in the downtown area. Ed.
How many miles was Eminem? I forgot how many
Christine,
miles
yes,
he
the clock
was.
has hit 8 o'clock, which means we're now in the second night of this
Was it
city
1
curfew
mile?
in the downtown
No,
area, the 1
Eminem was
square
like
mile,
more
and
than a mile,
LAPD ready
right?
to start enforcing
I
that
don't
curfew.
know.
Joe will give you a look.
I
We
don't
are at
really listen
Main.
to
The
Eminem.
cross here is Temple. It's on the east
8
side
miles?
of City Hall. There is
Oh,
the
so
LAPD
listen,
skirmish line.
we're
They've been
doing 1
moving in
mile
more
here.
enforcement on the other side. That is part of the larger
Damn, we
protest
went
that
from
began
8
a
to
few hours
1.
ago over at Pershing
1 mile
Square, and
only.
they marched on to the west
That's
side of City Hall
ridiculous.
over on Spring Street, and that's where it got very hectic, and that's where from Skyfox just a couple of minutes ago you saw some of the arrests being made in that area by that group that splintered off. This is the other group, and the live look now at Skyfox give you an idea of some of the arrests. As we were talking to one of the LAPD commanders here saying yes, they are making arrests at that other location. Here at this location at Main and Temple, they are pretty much in a standoff right now. Past 8 o'clock, this crowd of maybe perhaps as we look at it, maybe about 100 or so of these protesters from the Pershing Square area that moved over here. They are chanting at police saying they will not leave, they will not go, even though police are telling them 8 p.m. it's curfew time. It's time to move, to continue moving along the city. And these protesters, some of them waving flags, others with signs, really taking target at ICE and some of the derogatory comments they're making, but they're saying they're not leaving anywhere. So at least at this point over here on the eastern side of City Hall, it's pretty much a standoff. LAPD with their skirmish line. As we've been seeing through the last couple of hours, LAPD has been trying to seal in the big, large crowd of protesters. And over about an hour or so ago, over at Spring and Main on the west side of City Hall by Grand Park, they had them sealed in there, and then there really was, in effect, chaos at City Hall. Listen to some of this as the mounted patrol moves in. Listen.
Whoa! Oh, hit him with the stick! Hit him with the stick! Hit him with the sticks!
A wild scene outside City Hall Grand
These horses
Park as they
don't
brought in the mounted
play.
patrol and used them to
You
push
don't want
back
to get
the
hit
crowd.
by a horse.
At that point, it was a couple hundred strong. Those bangs you heard going off, not burst the crowd, but that
Wow, look
mounted
how
patrol
pretty
with
this
those
horse
horses
is.
strung across, maybe a dozen of those, so cleared out the street very quickly, cleared out Spring, pushed the crowd back as you're watching in the Grand Park, and then it was just a matter of moving in there, continuing the operation, continuing the arrest, and as it's mooted now, they are actively making arrests on that group. As we come back out live to this
Wow.
location, Joe will give you a look, some more
This
LAPD
is
reinforcements
wow.
coming in, another
Those
tactical
horses,
squad
boy,
coming
they
in
don't
here,
play.
moving into Main and Temple. This is
Who
the
had the
east
pretty
side of City
horses
Hall. They're
yesterday?
getting ready to enforce the curfew because you still have protesters
I
here.
thought, was
My
it
count, maybe an estimation of 100 or so who
was
say
it
that they're not
Denver?
leaving even though the curfew has hit 8 o'clock. So LAPD,
I don't know if it
what
was
we've been
Denver
seeing the
or
last
Austin.
couple of
One
hours,
of those two
in a sense,
places.
I
They
think
had
not
some
wanting to
pretty
play. I've
ass
been saying this
horses.
cat and
Like
mouse
three
game with
horses.
protesters the last
Oh my
couple of nights where the
god.
protesters
They
quickly
look
move
like
from one location
Clydesdales.
and then they
I
run
was
off
like,
to another
what the
location
fuck?
and they have LAPD patrols on
Like
the move, on the run.
those are horses.
LAPD, it seems to me, particularly tonight, is in the last couple of hours trying to cage them in, to block them in, if you will, on the grids a couple of blocks around, and then move in, start making arrests. And that's what we may have here taking place. LAPD fortifies the line over here on the Temple side of City Hall. And then we had some, I just noticed some convoy of CHP, black and white, by moving up on Main. They're awfully watching the freeway, making sure that this crowd, once it does begin to disperse, does make a run on the freeway, the Hollywood Freeway. Very tense situation here, past 8 o'clock, curfew time in
Yeah,
this
they
one
need
square
to
mile of downtown LA.
regather
And it
themselves.
remains to be seen how
And
this is going to be played out. But
I know
LAPD
Saturday's
waiting
gonna
here
be
a little bit.
crazy.
They're
Friday's
bringing in
gonna be
some more of their
wild, but
tactical
Saturday,
lines, bringing in
oh
some more
man, it's gonna
resources,
be all
just in
day.
case this goes the other way.
So, Ed, as we've watched the skirmish lines move from time to time during the different nights of protests, have you been stationary or have you had to move your location as well?
No, we've been actually also part of that. And again, cat and mouse game, because you've got to keep moving the protesters. And that's realize that they stay in one sense, and I'm guessing here at this point, estimating they're an easy ticket for arrest. So they keep moving. The group keeps splintering off and moving, keeping LAPD on the run. So when that happens, we've got to move as well, moving from a couple blocks over where those arrests were taking place from Skyfox a little
Yeah,
while
but
ago,
then what about
over
these
to this
people here?
location where something no doubt will be happening here as we hit the 8 o'clock hour. Police, I must tell you, as they begin to redevelop, another squad coming in over here to your right, Joe. I'll get out of the way, give you a look at that. So again, they're bringing in some more reinforcements thinking when they start to clear this crowd, they want to really protect City Hall. Joe gives you a look right up top. See, you talk about City Hall over here. This is, Main and Temple. Look at that. That's something we've seen this entire area, the City Hall, the main center of Los Angeles government, city government, surrounded by a very
He's
strong
already looking. He's
enforcement
like,
of
I'm gonna get
PD
that fucker
tactical
over
squads.
there.
And then you have
I
on the
see that
backside
liberal
here
over
is where the
there. I'm gonna
courthouse
get
is, the
that
Federal West
motherfucker.
Courthouse. That's protected by National Guardsmen on the other side, over there on the
He's like,
Spring
I'm gonna
side.
get
And then you have
you.
the LA County Sheriff's over
I
there in
know
that
where
line
you're
too.
at.
So they are very much concerned with protecting some of the main
These cops
aspect
over
of
here are
downtown Los
smoking. They're
Angeles.
like,
I
man,
was
we need
talking
a
earlier
fucking
to Alex
joint for
earlier, ladies,
tonight.
about you going through the jewelry, the famed jewelry district downtown, going over
drugs.
Pershing
Like,
Square to
fuck
cover
that.
that
We need it
protest. And it
tonight.
was,
Getting with
to be
this
honest with you,
shit.
sad, because many of them, the jewelers, they already had their windows and their front entrances boarded up with plywood. Usually you have the metal security gates that come down at night. They had those, and then they put reinforced plywood over that. A sad sign that, certainly a lot of the businesses here aren't feeling that safe with this curfew underway. They're not taking
media.
any chances.
Ed, last night, at what point did police go, you stragglers, now we arrest you? Was there something that triggered them from allowing them to kind of hang out on that corner that was behind you, and then what? Eventually they were arrested?
I think Yeah, I think that was the case. Again, looking at the clock, looking at the thought of the curfew, and they were very vocal about saying it's 8 o'clock. We have a curfew in effect now on their loudspeakers, and they didn't right at 8 o'clock move in, start trying to clear the crowd, just as they are tonight, I think, in a sense, giving them a chance to move on, try and hope that it ends peacefully. But at some point, as we have seen from Sky Fox, and frankly, we're probably going to see here, they're going to move in and make some arrests. So in terms of what ignites the crowd, I think it's just the point where LAPD says, we have a curfew by the authority of the mayor, and we've got to enforce it.
All right, Ed, we're going to check back with you. Right now, we move on. Protesters who caused chaos on the streets of LA recently are being held accountable.
LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman announced a host of charges earlier today against some who turned violent during anti-ICE protests.
This as a warning. People who are thinking about conducting these illegal acts, pretending that they are engaged in protests, but at the moment they engage in the illegal acts, they are no longer legitimate First Amendment protesters. They are criminals, and they will be prosecuted.
In all, 8 people were arrested and charged, including this guy who was caught on camera throwing rocks in Paramount. The Department of Justice announcing the arrest of 2
there's the guy we were
LA
watching
County men
yesterday.
who were charged with throwing Molotov cocktails during anti-ICE protests last weekend in downtown LA and Paramount. 23-year-old Emiliano Garduno Galvez of Paramount and 27-year-old Rocky Keogh of Long Beach were charged in federal court with possession of an unregistered destructive device, which carries a possible sentence of 10 years in prison.
Throwing rocks, explosives, assaulting agents, and
10
committing
years? I
other
think
acts
that's
of violence
too
are
lenient.
extremely dangerous and will not be
More like
tolerated.
15.
We expect more charges to be filed in the coming days and weeks.
Yeah,
If you took
15.
part in these riots and were looking to cause trouble, we will come looking for you.
Both defendants are in federal custody. The U.S.
For Molotov
attorney using this
cocktail, I think
send a
minimum 15
strong
years
other
is
agitators out there.
good. Like 10 years, I think is too little.
Protest in Paramount was taken down right here by federal agents in the middle of the street.
What?
The arrest led to a collision and is now sparking outrage. Fox 11's Gina
Oh,
Silva
that
is
was
live
pretty
with more
cool.
for it. Gina.
Let me go get me some rice pudding.
Well, when the arrest happened early this morning, there was a lot of confusion.
I need to be
It was a
sponsored by
dramatic
rice
scene,
pudding.
and people automatically thought it was an ICE raid.
What I see was 2 trucks. They block in the car, and then I just see them throw tear gas, and they have babies in the car.
Residents watched in shock as 2 unmarked gray SUVs suddenly boxed in a white sedan at Whittier Boulevard and Calzona Street in Boyle Heights shortly before 11 a.m. Federal agents swarmed the vehicle with weapons drawn. When the driver refused to get out, they fired tear gas directly at the car.
Fortunately, these tactics are very dangerous. There was 2 babies inside the car with their parents.
Residents immediately feared the worst, believing they were witnessing an ICE raid. Some posted on social media that ICE agents had just committed a hit and run. But by the afternoon, Homeland Security pushed back, stating this was no hit and run. This was a targeted arrest of a violent rioter who punched a CBP officer. When Homeland Security investigations tried to arrest Christian Damian Serno Camacho for the assault, he attempted to flee. He was ultimately arrested and taken into custody. But some in the community are suspicious.
I don't trust what they say. I see them going after people that they say are criminals, but they've been here for a very long time and they're just trying to make an honest day's wages.
We've seen images of federal agents coming under attack, rocks and chunks of concrete hurled in their direction as they drive through neighborhoods during ICE raids. Homeland Security reports
I bet she's going to say that was peaceful and
113%
friendly.
increase in assaults on federal officers. But community members argue that agents wearing full tactical gear and refusing to answer questions is only fueling public frustration and distrust.
And we asked them for their badge numbers, they just laughed in our faces.
Yeah, because they don't need to.
Activists held a rally and news conference calling the federal operation
The ICE agents,
violent
they don't
and
need to.
unjustified. They made it clear they do not trust the federal government's account of what happened.
We believe the federal government engaged in a hit and run when they boxed in, attacked this family, left the scene, and in fact, LAPD was investigating this as a hit and run. In response, the federal government says, oh, this person allegedly punched a federal agent. Is there any truth to that? Is there any video? Is there any proof?
Maybe.
Attorney Christian Contreras is demanding they release the video to show the proof. He also announced that he is planning to file a lawsuit against the federal government. Christine, Susan?
Gina,
that's what they do. They want to sue.
Really started out in one direction.
They're very liberal.
Got a lot of
I'm
attention.
telling you.
And as the day played out, you got more information to help try to sort it out.
Very
How
liberal.
it all went?
That's exactly how it went. Initially, it came out as a hit and run, and it was on social media. It was, being reported that the agents committed a hit and run, and they had taken a man, and so everybody thought it was an ICE raid, and they were furious about it because there were 2 children in the car, and you can see.
Did you see the video that I just see?
There was tear gas.
It wasn't a hit and run.
That was deployed.
It was a pit maneuver.
So that was a big concern. Now
where's the hit and run?
Everyone is saying, after there was so much outrage, Homeland Security is saying
I don't
that's
get
not
it.
what happened. He attacked an agent, and that's why he was arrested. So they're saying, okay, if that's really what happened, then go ahead and release the video, because there's, everyone's got a cell phone. There's video everywhere. And in fact, I just spoke with an LAPD officer who happened to be in the area, and we were talking about this story, and he said, they have amazing facial recognition software. So
wow,
that would be based on video. Right. So if there is video, and that's where they base the recognition, facial recognition, then there is video, and the community is demanding that they release it so that they can feel comfortable in believing what they're saying.
Yeah, as much social media as there is out there in this day and age, with everybody posting their own stuff, there's everybody else capturing the stuff. And law enforcement talked about that. All these videos that people are posting, we see them too. So perhaps there is enough evidence that they knew exactly who this person was to follow him and track him down. But obviously, we'll hear more as the days come along with these different arrests. And then
keep using social media.
Gene, I'm sure you can attest to this. Law enforcement insisting they are going to go
What do your devices are
have
constantly watching you?
Of all sorts.
Your cell phone is the most snoopiest device you ever had in your life.
The DA has
It's a
already
checking
made it very
device.
clear they are going to prosecute those who are attacking.
They know where you're at
officers.
all times. They
There are so
listen
many
to
people.
you.
The majority of the protesters are peaceful, but of course there
peaceful.
is an element that does get out of control, and that's what they're talking about. Still, some might
She said the word
issue
peaceful.
the way they decided to box them in and crash cars, really. Yeah, as you saw the video, it was pretty dramatic, and that's what they talked about during the press conference. They're like, it was like almost out of a movie scene. It was not the way to go about this. They should have done a normal arrest instead of terrifying the witnesses and the children in the car. Those are, the arguments from the community, and I'll tell you, no one believes the statement that was issued.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll get even more answers for the community.
Yeah, still to come.
Thanks.
Thank you, Gina. Still ahead at 8. Concern growing over getting vital resources to immigrants in need. What's being done to help?
Well, as we mentioned, a curfew is now in effect in downtown LA.
Los Angeles, as we have.
Yeah, they need to go back home. That's what they
Los
need.
Angeles, providing us insight and context from the ground. We do appreciate the reporters like Ed Lascos and Gina Silva, who have been on the ground through it all. The curfew, as they mentioned, just going into effect about 17 minutes ago. The curfew implemented tonight is identical to the one that was implemented last night. Today marks the 6th day of anti-ICE protests. I'm Austin Westfall. Let's take a commercial break. We'll bring you back out to Los Angeles in a moment.
All right. Well, while they go on that break, we'll definitely move it forward. It's a good thing about being a little bit behind. So let's see if we can get it forward here.
Right now. So let's go back out to our partners, Fox 11 Los Angeles. More of their reporting. This is live.
And we are coordinating home deliveries so everyone has access. So please feel free
Oh,
to
now they
reach
got to
out
deliver the food
for
for
our
them
services.
to the migrants now.
Veronica McDonald is with the
Free
Community Investment
free.
for Families, but also
If you're
there
scared
were
to come
representatives
outside.
from the LA Regional Food Bank, the American Red Cross, YMCA, and Students Run LA. It's all about offering help and resources to the most vulnerable population. To find one of the 19 family resource centers, go to the Civil and Human Rights website with the City of LA. We'll put the link on our website, foxla.com. Christine?
We have this story here coming up.
This one
Go
needs
ahead,
a
take a
drink.
listen to this first.
She needs a drink.
Call the police.
Yes.
We're calling. Yeah, police.
So only on Fox 11, a driver is stabbed inside his car in broad daylight at a Brentwood Ralph's parking lot near Bundy in Wilshire. Police say a homeless man carried out this attack, then took off. A witness followed him, called 911. Cell phone video captured that victim bleeding and screaming for help. Thanks to that witness and the fast LAPD response, that subject is now in custody.
It looked like a homeless gentleman leaning into the driver window, and he was stabbing him in the back several times, as it looked like the driver of the Great Minivan was trying to exit out of the passenger door or window. And then the guy pulled the knife out of his back and ran off.
Horrible, because he stabbed from the face and the couple place on his body.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he was bleeding too much.
Oh.
The victim's condition has not been released. What exactly sparked that attack remains unclear. Authorities credit that quick-thinking witness for helping track down the suspect.
Wow.
Let's talk about our weather here and look at this video. This is an update tonight on the ranch fire. It's burning in San Bernardino County. That new video there, that charred bus and a playground on fire.
Where's Gavin Newsom?
At least one home has been lost. So far, more than 4,200 acres have burned.
Why Gavin Newsom hasn't been talking about this?
Contained. Evacuation orders are in place, though, from Milpas Drive to High Road, south of Highway 18.
All right,
Why
let's talk
do we
about
get these
our
kids
weather. Let's
that
go to
are wasting
meteorologist
all that
Star
energy?
Harvey.
Hold on.
Having a bit of an audio interruption there. So Fox
No,
Los Angeles.
you interrupting me. Stop talking. I'm talking now. It's my damn show. All these kids that have all this energy and they're going over their curfew. That'll take them to jail. I don't think that's a good punishment. Let's get them to fight the fires. Yo, that's a lot of like volunteers right there. That's a lot of kids, and they're young. So they're young, dumb, full of cum, like I always said before. And we could get them out there and help the firefighters and back them up. Like, let them like earn their keep. And instead of giving them jail sentence, give them community service. Like, they're going to have to give them community service. They're going to have to clean up the city. You got to take off all the graffitis that people wrote. They're going to need to take all that off. They're going to need to fight those fires. Yeah, I could think of pretty good punishments for those who get caught up with these violations of curfews. Yeah, let's go back to the news here, and then I'm gonna wrap it up soon because it's already midnight here. So we'll watch them a little bit, and then I'll be done because I'm tired. Here we go.
Was getting into their weather forecast as they do nightly. So while they're talking about the weather, they're talking about some of the brush fires that are in the Inland Empire area. Let's move back to downtown Los Angeles, where Skyfox remains over the scene.
I wonder what Gavin Newsom's going to say now with the fire.
Curfew. And I do see, it's tough to tell, lots and lots of officers, clearly at least a few people who are detained. It's hard for me to tell if every single one of those officers is standing side by side with
Yeah, when did they caught that dude? Yeah, with the truck.
cuffs. But
yesterday, that female chick, I think it was.
We've been watching as people have been disobeying the curfew. The officers will detain people one by one. Then they will be loaded into We saw a bus last night. Looks like they may be utilizing vans tonight. Either way, they detain the people that are breaking the curfew. They process them. And this is night 6. Much of what we've watched all day today were peaceful protests. Stark comparison, previous days. Over the course of the 6 tense days, we've watched cars burn down.
Yeah, the 92
smoke
riots
bombs
didn't
being
last
kicked
this long.
around,
I just
pepper
feel like this
bullets
is
being
fueled by the
fired in
Democrats, you
directions
know? Because you
across
can see
multiple
how they're
neighborhoods
talking,
within
like
Southern
Karen
California.
Bass
Some of
and
them
Gavin
within LA
Newsom.
city limits
They're
proper,
like
some
siding with
outside
the
of LA city
migrants, with
limits.
the illegals,
Within Los Angeles, it's
and
mostly been
they're not
downtown
helping
LA
the situation.
where the
They're
majority
adding
of the
fuel to the
activity has
fire,
been.
but then they're
That's where this
deflecting
live
it
camera
and
is
blaming
focused right
Trump,
now.
saying that
If you
Trump's
were watching this
putting
over the
fuel to the
weekend, you
fire,
know we
and
were watching areas like
Trump is
Paramount
instigating,
and
and Trump is
Compton
doing this,
closely.
and Trump is doing
Those are
that,
also
and Trump
in
is like,
Los Angeles County,
he's at
not Los
UFC.
Angeles City proper, though.
Trump is at a
A
black
little bit
tie
of ways
event.
from
Trump's birthday's on
downtown LA,
Saturday.
Compton and
I
Paramount.
mean,
We've
Trump has
also
a
seen
lot of
activity
things
in
going on,
Westlake,
and yet you want
Santa
to
Ana,
come up with
which is in
this
Orange County.
craziness that
We've
the
watched
Democrats are
today as
trying to push all
protests
their chips into. It
broken
sounds
out across
very,
several cities. We don't have any live feeds.
very desperate
Those
move.
of you who've been watching us all evening, you know
It's
we've
very
had feeds
desperate.
today from Chicago, from New York, of course, several shots from Los Angeles all day. Looks like this camera is getting in position right now. I'm going to sit on this for a little bit. I'm curious. I'm going to do some digging behind the scenes. Perhaps we can learn some more about how many people are being arrested and some of what the Fox reporters on the ground are seeing. We're going to do some fact-finding behind the scenes. I'm going to just let the audio sit for a moment so you guys can listen in and watch what the cameras are seeing.
I don't know. I got a little vertical, so when I see shit moving on like this, it drives me fucking crazy. I'm just saying, you know, I'd rather watch
Can't
the
tell if this
helicopter.
is
Look,
perhaps near some sort of park.
some park. I don't know what park.
Nonetheless, as we watch this feed from the sky, let's also bring you some of the images from below. You know what, let's take that back in full since it's zooming in a little bit.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Now, a curfew is in effect in downtown Los Angeles. I'm sorry, what was that, Caleb? So we're still trying to figure out where exactly this group of protesters is located. But it looks to me to be a park. And if we start to see protesters get in the way of an intersection, perhaps blocking traffic,
A lot of people are gonna get arrested tonight. You gotta get as much as possible because Saturday is gonna be crazy.
Still seeing that the videographer on the ground is en route somewhere. And
Yeah,
we can't be more specific.
he's going to go eat. He's hungry. He's like, fuck this shit.
But we are clearly
Fuck these
seeing
riots.
a decent sized
He forgot to turn off his camera. He's like, oh shit, I forgot to turn on my fucking camera. Oh well. Once he realizes, he's like, yeah, where the fuck are you? Like, we could see you what you're doing.
I'm gonna mute my
Oh
audio.
shit, my camera's
We're gonna
on.
do some digging
I
behind
meant
the
to
scenes.
turn it
Not
off.
sure if we'll be able to exactly pinpoint where this group of protesters are. We don't have direct communication with journalists that are in the helicopter.
Oh, and we're just feeding in from another
We'll leave you
network.
guys with this feed. I'll be back. We're gonna try and find some more information.
I wonder where they're going. So there's traffic. There's people that are trying to get around the city. It looks like. And then you got people just acting crazy going around. I bet that guy in the car right there is like saying, "What the fuck is going on here?" wait a minute. You're going to see what's coming. It's a little chaotic. I wonder how legal is this, how is like how are they able to do this without consequence? I say, listen, gather them up, arrest them, and I'm in a boot camp or put them to fight the fires. It looks pretty cloudy there tonight in Los Angeles. Looks cloudy. And clouds are pretty low too.
It is a slightly foggy evening in Los Angeles.
Man, I just said that, man. Why are you trying to cover for me, man? Try to say I say
for where
cloudy,
that
you
group
said
is. So
foggy. What the
we'll
fuck,
do
man?
our best to find out behind the scenes. But for now, it looked like there was some traffic being impeded by that group that was marching through the street. Surely, Fox 11 will come back with some more details eventually. What we're going to do is take a brief commercial break.
You or your
Back
breaks again? These
with
guys
more
take
from
more
Los
breaks
Angeles.
than ever, man. You're spending time in breaks. I'm kind of like not being breaks.
Yeah.
There we go.
The night sun. Usually we see this in use during police chases. But now they might be using this to look for people on the streets amid the curfew.
Yeah, they're all there.
You
You
just
don't see them?
Again, there's the group. No doubt some sort of march going through the streets of Los Angeles.
Now,
We don't
is
have an
there
exact
curfew
cross
there?
street on this, but we do know that this is in Los Angeles.
I mean, curfew
Let's
should
hear a
be
little bit
throughout
from the
the
DA.
whole Los
These images on
Angeles,
your
not
screen
just
while we do
1
that.
mile. That's what Trump's gonna say. Trump's gonna say, "Why are you just putting a curfew on 1 mile? The whole area of Los Angeles should be on a curfew." You know, but that's your Karen Bass who wants 1 mile.
Well, thank you very much for coming today. I will be joined. My name is Nathan Hockman. I'm the District Attorney of Los Angeles County. You will hear after myself from Sheriff Robert Luna of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, and then Jim McDonald, the Chief of the Los Angeles Police Department. Before I announce the charges, the state charges that have been brought that are tied to these immigration protests, let me first put an overview about the charges. The complaints and the information you will hear about the charges today are not evidence. Evidence has to be presented in a court of law. An individual is presumed innocent until and unless they are proved guilty in that court of law beyond a reasonable doubt. So the discussion of the charges today is just that. It's a discussion of charges and not ultimately, or it does not ultimately constitute evidence of the crimes that will be presented in a court of law. So I first want to start out with a thank you. On behalf of the District Attorney's Office, I want to thank the hundreds of law enforcement officers from the LAPD, from the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, from their related law enforcement agencies that have come to Los Angeles to help out in this situation. It is not a situation, certainly, that law enforcement intended to actually have happen. Both the District Attorney's Office, the LAPD, the LA Sheriff's Department, and local law enforcement do not participate in federal civil immigration enforcement. I want to make that crystal clear. We were not alerted ahead of time that this was going to happen. We were not involved in the participation of it or the staging of it. We are not involved at all with respect to federal civil immigration enforcement.
Be involved. That's the
What
problem.
happened, though, is that though
You guys are
the
part of the
law
United States.
enforcement has
We're
done its
already part of.
absolute best to protect individuals who wanted legitimately to protest, to use their First Amendment rights of speech, to peacefully assemble. And when I say law enforcement has worked incredibly hard, they have worked overtime to make sure that people who want to engage in this legitimate protest have the opportunity to do so. The district attorney's office equally will fiercely protect people's rights to peacefully assemble and peacefully engage in First Amendment protected speech. However, when that speech crosses over from protected speech into illegal conduct, the people who engage in that illegal conduct will be prosecuted. They will first be arrested, they will be prosecuted, and they will be punished to the full extent of the law. We have said this repeatedly. We've said this as a warning to people who are thinking about conducting these illegal acts, pretending that they are engaged in protests, but at the moment they engage in the illegal acts, they are no longer legitimate First Amendment protesters. They are criminals, and they will be prosecuted as criminals. If people want to hurl insults, we will protect that. If people want to engage in crimes, we will prosecute them. So hurling bricks, hurling cinder blocks, hurling fireworks will be permitted in this county now or ever. So when we talk about the cases that we are brought, I'm going to highlight 5 cases today that we have brought in order to, again, not to give an example of the types of cases that we are bringing, and as importantly, the types of potential criminal consequences the individuals who've engaged in this criminal activity will face. And in saying that, we will be having literally dozens and dozens of additional cases that will be brought to us from law enforcement to consider filing. In the weeks to come, we will look through all those cases. And by the way, as a quick aside, for any individual who's engaged in criminal conduct but did not get immediately arrested, let me provide some bad news for you. There's a tremendous amount of video out there through social media and otherwise. We will know who you are, who engaged in this conduct. We will track you down. We will arrest you. We will prosecute you, and we will punish you. So for people who've already engaged in this illegal activity, we're coming for you. For people who are thinking that maybe this is a good idea to do, please take this as your warning, that if you engage in this conduct, please don't come to us afterwards and say, we didn't think anything was going to happen to us. Because those prosecutions will occur. And again, before I go into the examples or overview, if you only saw the social media and the media reports of what's gone on over the last 5 days, you would think that Los Angeles is on the verge of war, that we are truly being attacked repeatedly over and over and over again, because that has been the media's message to both people in Los Angeles, to people in the state of California, to people in this nation, to people throughout this entire world. That somehow every second of every day, there's another exploding firework on our street, that motorcycles are running into cops, that stores are being looted, that buildings are being vandalized and graffitied. But let me put this in perspective for you. There are 11 million people in this county, 4 million of which live in Los Angeles City. We estimate that there's probably thousands of people who've engaged in legitimate protests, let's say 4,000 people. That means that 99.9% of people who live in Los Angeles City or generally in Los Angeles County have not engaged in any protest at all. Now, amongst the people who've engaged in protests, we estimate there are hundreds of people, let's say up to maybe 400 to use rough percentages, who've engaged in this type of illegal activity. So what does that mean? That means that 99.99% of people who live in Los Angeles City or live in Los Angeles County have not committed any illegal acts in connection with this protest whatsoever. So let's put that as a context when we look at these images over and over again that the media wants to put out there to try and scare us all. And then understand what the resources that we can bring, that law enforcement can bring to this task. The Los Angeles Police Department has over 8,500 officers. Sheriff Luna has over 9,000 officers. The California Highway Patrol, the local law enforcement agencies that have all been enlisted and have been so generous in helping us out, bring additional thousands of officers if needed for any level of civil unrest that might occur. And that civil unrest has been on a downward trend over the last several days. But these law enforcement officers are absolutely ready for anything that comes their way. So let me describe these 5 cases. The first case involves a individual who's been charged. His name is Juan Rodriguez. He's from Gardena. He's been charged with 1 felony count of assault upon a peace officer, resisting arrest, and advocating violence against an officer that has caused injury. At 5 p.m. on June 8th, Mr. Rodriguez allegedly passed out commercial-grade fireworks to a group of protesters who lit them and threw these commercial-grade fireworks at police officers at the intersection of First Street and Los Angeles Street. He's also accused of throwing the fireworks himself at the officers. And one of these fireworks exploded and injured an officer from the exploding sparks. If convicted as charged, Mr. Rodriguez will be facing 6 years and 4 months in state prison.
That's a little bit. I would make that 12
It involves
years.
Randy Paul Ruiz and Georgina Ravallero. Both have been charged with 2 felony counts of assault upon a peace officer. On June 8th, at approximately 3:40 p.m., police were holding a skirmish line at the corner of Temple and Alameda Streets, where Mr. Ruiz allegedly drove his motorcycle into a line of officers. Minutes later, Ms. Ravallero is accused of driving another motorcycle into the officers, injuring one and knocking down several others. If convicted as charged, Ruiz and Ravallero each face up to 6 years and 4 months in state prison. Third case, Timmy Polk and Raven Mitchell. This case involves both of these individuals being charged with 1 felony count of second-degree commercial burglary and grand theft. On June 8th at about 10:15 p.m., Mitchell was double parked near a Nike store in the 600 block of South Broadway that was allegedly being looted by a group of people. Polk is accused of stealing multiple items from that store and getting into the car driven by Mitchell. They fled, but they were arrested a short time later. If convicted as charged, they each face up to 3 years in state prison. The next 2 cases are Los Angeles Sheriff's Department cases. Sheriff Luna will provide additional facts about these cases, but let me just give a quick overview of each one. Ulysses Sanchez. Ulysses Sanchez has been charged with 1 felony count of assault with a deadly weapon, possession of a firearm by a felon, and 1 misdemeanor count each of reckless driving and possession of a smoking device. On June 8th at 9:35 p.m., Mr. Sanchez engaged in reckless driving in his minivan in downtown Los Angeles. Many of you saw the video footage of this where he was driving in donuts and injuring individuals. Mr. Sanchez is a third striker. If convicted as charged, Mr. Sanchez faces up to 25 years to life in state prison. The 5th case is Christopher Gonzalez and Yoselyn Johnson. In this case, they have both been charged with 1 felony count of conspiracy to commit vandalism and 2 felony counts of vandalism as well. On June 9th at 6:30 p.m., Mr. Gonzalez is accused of vandalizing an apartment complex down here on the Hall of Justice. They each face 3 years and 8 months in state prison. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Sheriff Luna to go into greater detail. But again, I cannot commend
Yes, I'm going to get it back because
the
I'm really getting
tireless
tired.
work that law enforcement has brought to this task to try and keep us safe and still ensure that people who want to legitimately protest get that opportunity. Sheriff Luna.
Thank you, DA Hockman. Thank you all for covering this story. I do want to start off not only by thanking all of you for being here, but I do want to take just a quick second to thank the district attorney. The day after the protest started, he called me. He told me he was assigning a special prosecutor to deal with violence against our deputy sheriffs or any other related police officers. And I really appreciate that, because just for a quick second, if you could think of the mindset of our employees having to leave their families and coming to work, to know that they're going to be in the middle of some of that isolated chaos that you've seen. It is good to know that when they are being violently attacked, whether it's with rocks, bottles, Molotov cocktails, pyrotechnics, pepper spray, I could go on, that they know that the individuals that we're going to focus on them, and we have a district attorney who's going to bring forward charges. And just really quick, I received the same call from the U.S. attorney here in Los Angeles. And I think all of you saw something earlier today where he is doing the same thing with federal charges. So I just say that, and Mr. Hochman said it perfectly and articulated it very well. There's a big distinction between individuals that protest and demonstrate to violent, destructive, basically anarchists. I mean, just creating that chaos. What we're talking about are the individuals who don't care about the issue at hand, because we will facilitate all peaceful First Amendment activity. But when you have people that are out here to commit acts of violence against our deputy sheriffs or police officers, or they're destroying our city, we're going to stop it. You see it, it's frustrating. And as the days have gone on, arrests are climbing, and now the prosecutions are taking place. And just this warning, because if you didn't get caught the last couple of nights, there's a lot of evidence out there, and you're probably going to get detectives or others knocking on your door and arresting you and bringing you in for either committing all these acts that we've talked about. So just a little bit on some of the cases. On Saturday, during civil arrest in Paramount, a local gas station was burglarized, looted on Alondra Boulevard. After the unlawful assembly concluded, Compton deputies responded to the gas station to secure the location and take the reports of the burglaries that had occurred. While at the location, an individual shouted at them and threw 2 full cans of beer in their direction. And I don't think it was to say thank you. It was for the opposite reason. The deputies ordered him to leave. However, he refused and threw a 3rd full can of beer at our deputies. Based on the suspect's assaultive actions, deputies used less lethal force, specifically a 40-millimeter baton launcher, striking the suspect. The deputies were able to immediately handcuff the suspect without any further incident. The suspect, 20-year-old Eduardo Cervantes, a resident of Linwood, was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon on a police officer. He was released on his own recognizance yesterday at the Compton court. Separately, 2 suspects arrested for felony vandalism here at the Hall of Justice. On Monday, deputies
They
were
just
driving
letting
in
them
the
go.
200 block
They're
of
just
Temple
releasing
Street near
them.
the Hall of Justice when they observed an act of vandalism in progress. They witnessed a 20-year-old Christopher Gonzalez Reese defacing the south wall of the Hall of Justice building, not with a spray can. He was literally standing there with a paint roller, a very long stick, and writing graffiti over an area measuring about 18 feet by 12. The suspect was using beige paint, and the content of the graffiti included profanity directed at a federal agency. The same suspect was previously identified as the same individual who was observed committing a similar act of vandalism on the south wall of a building located in the 500 block of North Broadway. In both occurrences, a second suspect identified as 40-year-old Jocelyn Johnson appeared to act as a lookout and was observed video recording the acts of vandalism. Following the second incident, deputies contacted both suspects and took them into custody. A search of their vehicle led to the discovery of large buckets of paint and a 10-foot extension pole believed to have been used in the commission of these crimes that were described. Both suspects were arrested and booked on felony vandalism charges. Just as I wrap up and before I turn it over to my partner, Chief Jim McDonald, I just want to reiterate, we will facilitate the peaceful protest. And thank God 99% of them are taking place in this one square mile area here in the city of Los Angeles. And then when you saw in Paramount and Compton on Saturday, we are going to do everything we can to protect our employees when they're being attacked. So if you come to demonstrate, that's great. If you come to throw things at us, attack our employees, you're going to get arrested. Maybe not that day, but later, and you're going to get prosecuted. And not only may you serve significant time in jail, but there's going to be fines behind that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chief McDonald, and I'll be available for questions after he has completed his.
LA County Sheriff Robert Luna.
I'm glad they're
earlier
stopping that
today.
because I'm
So-
stopping it myself because I'm going to bed. I'm tired. Thank you for everyone who came through. I truly appreciate it. I'm tired, man. This riot stuff needs to hurry up and get over with. But they're gonna cause chaos before anything else. I just feel it getting worse before it gets better. A lot worse before it gets better. But hopefully, you know, everything's safe for Saturday. It's Trump's birthday, so it's I just want everything to be safe. That's all. It's gonna be crazy. I know Saturday's gonna be crazy. I'll be on and I'll be covering it. But with that said, I'm gonna sleep. Have a good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at. I'll catch everyone on the flip side, and we'll do this again tomorrow. We'll do maybe a recap in the morning. Maybe we'll see what happened last night. We'll see some videos, and I'll recap some of what happened last night. All right, guys. Take care. Have a good night. Bye for now.